What is going on, everybody? It is episode 678 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today we have a special guest on the show who I bet a lot of you are already familiar with. Before he introduces himself, Unknown sent us a $20 super chat. We're just normal men.
Yes.
So give us a brief introduction for those who don't know you yet.
Yeah, to you?
No, the viewers. The viewers. I know we definitely have some overlap in our audiences, but
should I talk
for
to the
whoever is
camera?
not familiar, do what feels right for
Where
you.
do I put my hands?
Bro, it's wherever you want to look, man. It's up to you.
All right. Listen, I'm just Craig. I'm a normal man. I host a show called Side Scrollers. We're live Monday through Friday. Earlier today, I broadcasted from the basement of this place, and I had horrible headphones in, which were really bad sound. This sound is considerably better. So yes, the Side Scrollers podcast, a bunch of normal men watch it who look at the video game and entertainment world and say, hey, that's not normal. That's what a normal man does. So I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited to be hanging out with you guys. We right before we went live, we were talking Dark Side Bill.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Also,
I was totally new to that whole drama. So
Also, when you were live, he was because downstairs, I was like, where am I going to set Craig up to do a show? Because if people don't know, this location is where Timcast IRL used to be out of a different office here, a different studio, and they have moved to a new location. So this place is kind of barren right now in the basement. It's like they're getting ready to do inventory. So there was just stuff everywhere, and Craig was just fiddling with everything while he was on stream.
Yeah, it was great.
Also, I had an aneurysm when I realized we had your brother on the show before. That was 10 months ago.
Yep.
At this point.
And then when he told me, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Last night I was like, why does he look so much like Brad? That's weird.
Well, Brad looks like me.
Okay, sorry.
Because I'm older.
Other way around.
Yes,
he looks like you.
And I look like my dad.
But I was like, did we mix things up? Did I get people confused? But yeah, I didn't know that you guys were related.
But it makes perfect sense.
But now I know that we should have you both on at the same time.
Yeah, if you want chaos.
That definitely needs to happen in the future.
We're just grown-up kids at the end of the day who are fighting for a cause.
Yeah,
and
just normal grown-up kids.
We're just normal men. And at the end of the day, if you would like your office destroyed, then you can have us both on. It'll be great.
I kind of like it. I mean, it's great for views to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We just passed
$20 super chat from Dat Pie over there. Are you going to catch Gunther versus Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin next Saturday? The last time an Austrian showed up to Berlin, it went sicko mode. Also, Joe Hendry is challenging All Ego for the next title. Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Look, I don't pay as nearly as close attention to wrestling as I used to. I wish I had the time. I wish I did. I'm not gonna lie. I get most of my wrestling information from podcasts, and I tend to do that more when I'm traveling. I haven't been following it as closely. I know that I know that Logan Paul lost the U.S. title very recently, and that was like the closest thing I can remember. It was the Intercontinental title, but I do miss wrestling sometimes, but I don't have the time for it these days.
You know what my favorite thing about that was you reading that super chat and having no idea what you're saying.
It happens often.
Yeah,
it does.
It's great.
It does.
To answer the question, I do believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah, absolutely. And will I be watching that? Probably not. Yeah. But I'll catch the highlights or something on X.
I feel like wrestling more than anything suffers from the amount of people who just kind of fell off. Like I can't look. Raw's 3 hours every week. I don't have 3 hours to watch TV. I'll just catch it through social media clips and then podcasts of people, responding to it or watching it and stuff like that. I did see the clip when Roman Reigns came back after 6 months in his match.
Baller.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
so perfect example that you can't really create a whole ton of good guys these days other than what they've got going on right now with Cody Rhodes. It's that tweeners are the best thing that you can do because as soon as they tell you to like someone, nobody wants to like him anymore.
Yeah, Stone Cold ruined it for everybody.
Yep,
Stone Cold just went in and became the anti-hero, and all of a sudden that's all everybody's wanted the last 3 decades.
Well, it's also like when The Rock was, when they tried to push The Rock, it didn't work when he was Rocky Maivia, but as soon as he got to be a bad guy, then he was able to actually grow and become the guy that he could be on camera.
It's amazing to see the characters evolve over time, you know?
So what do we got to talk about today, guys? Oh, and as you just saw, remember, all Super Chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there. Make sure to share these videos out, the live streams, the segments, everything. Friends, family, loved ones, people you like, people you hate, mortal enemies, everyone in between. The more people you share this stuff with, the faster channels like this grow. It is the best way to support us. So thank you so much for that.
So, hold on. Do you guys just stare? This is, you guys just stare at each other throughout the show?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. We literally had to move the cameras.
Is that weird for a conversation?
I don't know.
It's a pretty normal thing that you do during a conversation. But make eye contact.
Yes, but but I don't know. It's like it's such an interesting setup. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's nice.
There was a time when we were doing guests in that chair over there, but because my monitors and all the equipment's over here, it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the pivot.
But don't get weirded out if I'm not turning myself to look at you, because I stay very still.
Mary stays dead center the whole time.
Yeah.
She does not move. I'm the fidgeter. I move around like.
So I'm gonna be giving you the side eye. No. Nothing personal.
I've gotten the side eye from you a couple times already. Made me feel very uncomfortable. That's right.
So what are we getting into today? Well, guys, if you did not see, obviously the Acolyte has been unceremoniously canceled, and all of 9 people on the internet are pissed about that. So they've created a petition because they want the show brought back. It was actually more than 9 people, but not by much. So we're going to get into that because there was also some hullabaloo around merch getting removed from the Disney store that was then put back up later. It's a whole thing, so we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk. I specifically saved this for you, my friend, because last weekend there was a thread going around on Twitter about whether women found men who play video games, whether that was an attractive hobby, and I figured you're going to have a better take on this than just about anyone.
Well, I mean, I am not a woman, although I do identify them as one on the weekends.
But you can put the ladies in their place.
Yes. Well, as a father of 2 daughters and a husband, I can speak about marriage while playing video games
from a point of authority.
Yes.
So we can discuss that, and of course, guys. I don't take blood pressure medications, but if I did, I would have to take it before we do the Crow review. So we're going to be doing that at the end. And
you were so angry. I love seeing you angry.
He was mad, wasn't he?
I will likely have some type of emotional meltdown by the time this is done because Hollywood clearly did not learn any of the right lessons and took a fantastic movie with a great story about love, revenge, and all of this other stuff and said, fuck that. And just decided to make a shitty movie. So we're going to get into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys are ready, then we can just get started. Mary, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Craig, you ready?
Yeah.
He thought about it.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. First things first. I got this from Carter right before we went live today. The theme song for the show is now up on YouTube. People were asking for this a long time ago. You can go over to the Trash House Records YouTube channel, and there's not only the theme song right there, which you hear before. This is what plays before the show goes live, right?
It's very chill.
You've got the chill version, of course. I like that because it's the calm before the storm, before I start to spurg out on the stream. There's a 1-hour loop, which is the most current year thing ever. It's basically pop culture lo-fi beats to study by.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So if any of you are interested in that.
And there's links in the description on the channel there, so go and check that out, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot of fun.
Is it free? You can listen to it for free?
Oh, yeah, on YouTube. Yeah,
for free?
For free.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great deal.
I know, right? That's fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? So yesterday, TMZ reported that apparently Beyoncé was going to be performing at the DNC because they love nothing more than to shill their shitty policies with celebrities. Well, that was apparently misreported, was it not?
Right. TMZ issued a correction saying, to quote the great Beyoncé, "We gotta lay our cards down, down, down. We got this one wrong." It would be such a low point for Beyoncé if she had to perform at the DNC. All they got was Pink.
Yeah. I was like, really?
Pink and her kid, right?
Yeah.
And her daughter, yeah.
Hold on. Is her kid a daughter?
Oh, I don't know.
I think her child is trans.
Okay.
Seriously?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, these people.
Somebody fact check me on that one.
These people, man.
Look, I personally don't find looking into Pink all that worthy of my time most of the
She
most
hasn't
of the
been
time.
relevant for a while, so
Yeah.
they had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for Pink.
Well, no, she did a thing earlier this year where she was like talking about book banning at concerts. Remember that?
Yeah. She's
like, how dare you try to ban porn from schools?
I mean, I do go to a lot of my political thoughts for Pink.
Or Beyonce, right?
Generally, that's when I'm like looking for high quality political dealings. I'm like, oh, what's Pink have to say about this?
There was something funny about this though, because people were like making jokes about TMZ's credibility. I'm here to tell you that if you were to choose between CNN, MSNBC, and TMZ, TMZ is leagues better than all of those. If you go and you look, first of all, if you want a good example, when Donald Trump was nearly assassinated, it was like the stories was.
I'm sorry. It was did that actually happen?
Yes.
I just need to be clear because
at the very least, TMZ continued to talk about it and follow up stories way later than everyone else, and for the most part are pretty good. I mean, they have their biases. That's fine. I expect most of these news networks to not be 110% neutral. I think for the most part that's a myth. But they're pretty good. Like today they covered the story about, it's funny because it's TMZ, but they covered Breonna Taylor's, the cops who were involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting. They were not charged, or they were acquitted by the judge. And there was no editorializing in the article or anything like that. Like for a news site, it runs pretty smooth.
Yeah, there's a lot of irony when TMZ is like the leader in the clubhouse as far as credibility.
Paragon of journalism.
Right.
Well, it's not even necessarily that they don't have bias. It's that, look, one of the worst ways in which news sites censor is just by is what they choose not to cover.
Shit,
yeah,
God,
he'll get used to it. He's going to get used to it, guys. Every time, if you want to do that more, every time you guys super chat, you get to shoot Craig with money.
Okay.
That's our shtick.
That's
the only reason people watch this
exactly,
show, really.
is to watch people have money shot them.
Should I open my sorry. Should I open my mouth and aim towards it? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
Good?
I'm good. This is a great bit. I love it.
He'll get used to it, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if
but
I will.
At this point now, we just talk right through it, deadpan.
All of our guests are just cheap strippers at this point.
We're all just a bunch of whores. Is good. Yes.
I think you actually when Mary at one time posted a picture of all the money on the table after an episode. She's like, day in the life of a podcaster.
Yep.
Right.
Very normal men.
This does look like normal money outside of the fact that it does say the United States copy money on the back of it.
Look, you can have that. It's all yours.
No.
You can have that.
Did we get him to sign one of the...
Not yet. Yeah, remind me after the show. Yeah, we forgot a couple of weeks ago with at least one.
Oh,
so
okay.
But again, what I want to say is most news networks, it's not necessarily through their bias that they're always the most evil. It's what they choose not to cover, and TMZ doesn't do that a whole lot. They tend to cover just about everything. And that's fine. I would rather you talk about it all. And like you said, it's sad when TMZ becomes the paragon of digital journalistic integrity.
Well, this reminds me of back in the day when the... Sorry. I don't even know what's happening on this damn show.
It's not that scary. Come on.
He's overdoing it here, folks. He's making us look bad.
This is it's a lot. I got you here, and then I got things flying at me. But this goes back to the idea of back in the 90s when there was the National Enquirer, right? And they were doing all these stories, and they'd have these big headlines about aliens landed in my yard and they stole my dog or whatever, right?
I love that stuff.
Right. But at the end of the day, if you looked underneath it, there were actually really good stories that they actually wrote about. And there was, it goes back to that.
We have a couple of $20 super chats.
Go for it.
So to interrupt you, Nate said, guest that's too intelligent of a take. Brett was right the other day. Voters will vote based on what Pink and Beyonce say. For the people, by the people, but the people are worded.
Yes.
Jake BB said, it's been a minute since I caught you guys live, but I had to be here for this crossover. I watch Normal Man Craig every day on Side Scrollers. Brett, Mary, I wish you a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome back. We appreciate that.
See, look, I'm good now.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You haven't even experienced a crisis party yet. And when that happens, that's when you'll really feel it.
You know what the hell's crisis party.
Yeah,
all right.
We're going to get there. But like I said, I go to celebrities for my opinions on politics. Of course, who would be better informed than Dean Norris from Breaking Bad at the DNC?
Why was he there? What was he doing there?
Because they couldn't get Walter
I don't
White.
understand.
Who is the leading celebrity in the clubhouse as far as your leading political takes? Is it Mark Hamill? Mark Hamill probably.
Have you ever
He's
seen
up there.
Have you seen that famous picture? It's of all the cast of Star Wars,
Yeah.
and they've turned them into ghosts for all the characters that have since passed away. Where like
No, I
Carrie
haven't
Fisher
seen
looks
that.
like an angel. So they, because they've all passed away, and then it's Mark Hamill, just his brain.
Yeah, just his brain's broken. He's dead.
His life is already hell.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it would be hell to live with Trump derangement syndrome.
I do encourage everybody, and I talk about this all the time because we have to talk about celebrities a lot, is divorce yourself from the opinions of celebrities. Read them, find them vaguely interesting, analyze them if you must, but like when some celebrity finally comes out of the woodwork and says one thing you like, don't be like, oh, I always knew I liked that guy. No. Don't do that. The worst thing you can do is attach any of your self-worth, any type of relevancy to your viewpoints. Don't attach any of that to what a celebrity says, because you will be disappointed. And it's really no one's fault but your own for letting yourself get built up like that just to have it torn down by a celebrity, then proving that they're an idiot.
We have another 20 from Wait. Could be worse, Craig. No possibility of mitts.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wait, what is that?
Thanks, CEO. Appreciate that. So I do game streams occasionally, and I like to play I play a lot of classic games on my channel, right? Or at least on the Plays channel. We still need to get back to it. But I provide people with the opportunity to let me play games with oven mitts on. So
Okay.
it does not add to the gameplay experience for
Got
me.
it.
Shocking.
But it does add to the visual experience for the
I like that.
viewer. Yes, it's fun.
I was explaining I literally just had my N64 mailed back home from Minnesota recently, and had to spend like 2 hours taking it apart and cleaning it because of water damage from where it was stored. And it took about 15 tries, but it did end up working, and played through Forsaken 64. It's a lot of fun.
How was that? Was that good? Good
I
experience?
mean, it's hilarious when you like the lag in the controller, but that's fine. Like I play a lot of vintage video games, whether it's old NES, old Sega, 16-bit, and Mega Drive.
What was a better experience, playing Forsaken on the N64 or Beyonce's non-appearance at the DNC?
Both.
Oh,
They're-
okay.
they're
I
fantastic,
genuinely
yeah.
would have been surprised if she did it, though. Would you guys?
No, not at all.
She's on top of the world. Like, she doesn't need to do that.
I don't.
It would be embarrassing for her to do that.
No, I don't. I think that they make exceptions for politics. I
They
think
were
that they're-
also tracking Taylor Swift's private jet for
Yeah,
people
to
who
make sure
track
she
it
would-
on a delay.
Wait.
And they were trying to see if she was headed to Chicago, but that didn't happen either.
Hold on. You're talking about climate enthusiast Taylor Swift
Yep.
in her private jet flying around?
I loved the meme
Ghastly.
recently that said, like, after the threat of the terror attack, it says like Taylor Swift jet opens fire on ISIS, and it showed like her plane with a bunch of like rigged weapons on it. It was awesome. All right, let's move on then, shall we? We got more to discuss here today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, not just Beyonce at the DNC, but Logan Paul is getting some pushback after a video resurfaced that, according to people on the internet, seemingly shows him pushing his dog under his boat near the rudder. Okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a newer video of his. So, are we gonna just take a look at the evidence and decide for ourselves?
First, let's watch the original video here, the low quality version
Yeah.
that was going around.
Oh no, please. Oh no. Raleigh! I'm going in.
The dog must have been so scared.
Well, I mean, look, okay, so here it is again.
You can see someone's hand or someone's foot there.
I don't know why, if they pushed him in, he would immediately respond like that.
Yeah.
If that was the truth here, but he did feel the need to respond, obviously, because she doesn't want John Wick coming after him or
No.
something like that. So he posted an HD video of what? Oh, there it is.
What?
You're supposed to dance.
Why aren't you dancing?
There it is. We'll take what we can get.
Okay, white boy.
Yeah. Mary does the Trump dance. Even that's a bit of a Trump dance right there.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
We'll get some practice.
Yeah,
He-
yeah.
you can.
More of that. How does that happen?
Every $100, crisis party.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. So, guys, more
Making it
money
rain.
means more crisis parties, means more chances for Craig to go and dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
So he had to respond because he didn't want John Wick coming after him, and he posted an HD video of what happened to try and correct the record on this.
Rolly, don't do it! No, not in the front.
So if you go through and you look, it looks like his hand is actually above the dog right there. Like like I don't know if they can see it here.
He's holding him back.
Yeah, I might have to.
We have another 20 from Luscious Lucian. Brett, I'm not surprised they destroyed Crow, sadly, watching it tonight. On a good note, though, Amazon has the Continuum TV show, one of the greatest TV shows of a bygone era.
Yeah.
Mary may actually like this one.
So it's really funny. After somebody mentioned that it was back online there, and before, I looked for it recently and it wasn't there on any of the streaming services. And then after somebody mentioned it, I opened Amazon Prime and immediately was like the first thing that came up. And I don't know if it's because my phone is listening to me talk or if it's just got lucky and they just put it back on that day.
I think it's because they're spying on you.
Probably. I don't blame them. So it doesn't look like his hand is pushing the dog in.
Look,
It looks
I would not put this past Logan Paul and his past behavior, his current behavior. I would totally
Yes.
believe that he accidentally tried to push his dog into a lake. And then he posted a screenshot of his clarification. We would never, ever push Broly off the boat. He jumped and a hand was behind him, petting him. And when he jumped, we attempted to grab him, but for a fact, we did not push him. Watch his body language, and you can very evidently see a self-induced, independent jump from the little mutt. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And he said, yeah, I just watched in slow motion, wasn't even touching him. And when he jumped, the hand followed. Go F yourselves.
Yeah. This is the worst type of thing where even if he didn't do it, the internet's never going to believe you.
He's done too much.
He's done too
to
much
human
stuff.
beings for us to believe he would treat a
They're
dog
like,
any better.
They're like, well, you did go show that dead body in the Japanese forest, so am I really supposed to believe anything you say?
Yeah.
What is Logan Paul's net worth?
A lot.
At this point,
Yeah, how many hundreds of millions of dollars?
I don't know if is it in
Let's
the
see.
hundreds of millions? It's
Oh,
got
I
to be,
would
right?
bet.
With all the licensing and I mean, Prime is
right?
everywhere.
Yeah,
right.
Prime is $1 billion.
estimated in 245 million.
So, if you're worth $245 million and you've got your drink brand and everything like that, they don't want the guy who pushed his dog in front of like a rudder.
Well, they know he's messy. They know that he's problematic.
Pets are different. I feel like pets are different.
People are more likely to show respect to a dog than a human being.
Yeah.
So this is really
like if he had
pissing
done this
people
to
off.
if he had done this to one of his bros and the dude almost gets caught under the rudder, they'd have been like, oh man, they were just roughhousing.
I mean, he's just friends with Logan Paul. Who cares what happens to him?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happens when you live in the public eye now. Everything you've ever done is going to be held under close scrutiny. It's really funny because this was literally something I was telling Mary about yesterday. There was like a video clip that was going around on Instagram of Rhea Ripley at like a fan event where she's like holding her phone and she's like leaning in because there's like the barricade and there's all the fans there, and like it looks like she's moving like this and she's turning and a kid reaches out and she turns into it and it looks like the kid's reaching for her chest. But it very clearly looked like she moved the other way and the kid was reaching for her shoulder and like leaned into it. And the whole comment section was people saying like, who's this kid's parents?
Right,
like, why didn't they teach him to keep his hands to himself? And somebody's like, I don't think that's the boy. I think that's a girl. And the whole comment section just devolved into that type of discussion. And that's the issue with everything being caught on, camera these days.
I think, Logan Paul is an interesting cat. Obviously very smart when it comes to business, very smart, very savvy. And he's done, he's obviously done what he could to do exactly where he's at, right? He's gone out of his way to promote himself both positively and negatively. He's done controversial things. He's seen a lot of he wrestles in WWE now, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So I get him and his brother confused, but the point is that they're very, very brilliant when it comes to marketing. And when if he's going to get criticized for this, he's actually doing from a marketing perspective, he's going out and addressing it, and it has millions of views, and people are talking about Logan Paul, which is exactly what he wants.
The same thing happened.
Had a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Yes.
And the dog was okay. The people
Yeah,
in the
the
chat
dog's
are
fine.
asking if the dog is gay. This happened very recently to him again because he spoke out against the boxing controversy at the Olympics and immediately
What did
got.
he say?
I think he thought it was that they were trans at first and then had to like recant his statement.
Okay.
WWE was not happy about that because he's a representative of the company as well.
Did they say something?
I think they said that he got a call from them and said you need
He's
to
on a
correct the
leash.
record. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing: they need him more than he needs them. He
I
doesn't
agree.
need WWE anymore.
I agree.
Or not anymore ever. He never needed WWE.
Right.
So but the dog is okay. So
Don't worry about that.
Take solace in that.
Do we know that for sure, though?
It was 4 years ago, unless they hid the death of this dog.
Oh, this was 4 years
Yeah,
ago?
well, that's the beauty of the
Yeah.
internet, right? Is everything just comes back up when if you're marked for trouble with people, they will find. Me and Mary call it the infamous resurfaced clip.
Yes.
Things always resurface just in time for somebody to get slammed by everybody on the internet.
Right.
There's people who try to resurface clips on me all the time. It's great.
Just work through it.
Who cares?
Work through it. All right, let's move on then, shall we? So, Mary, do you want to give everybody an explanation of what this was? Because
Yeah.
I haven't seen this.
So an activist named Steffi Evans posted a clip of her getting into a spat with who she calls a pick-me Twitch streamer in the middle of an Xbox Live banter. I found out that this woman actually founded a nonprofit activist organization called Unmute. It's aimed at creating a space where the line between competitive banter and harmful speech is clear and respected.
That is the lamest.
This is a
thing I've
real
ever-
thing.
This is the lamest thing I've ever. She's gonna go before Congress. Before long.
I'm looking at the website right now. It says, unmute and get loud. Tired of being told to kill yourself in online games? We are too. We're a charity that actively combats harassment, misogyny, racism, and bigotry in online games through advocacy, co-ed tournaments, scholarships, educational resources, and nurturing a supportive social community.
If you hate fun, just say so.
I have not seen this woman, but I'm going to go on just a ledge here and ready to jump off the building and guess that she's probably a 20-something white girl.
That
Looks like it. Looks like it from here.
Is this the case?
Let's take a look at the clip.
Let's listen to the clip here.
Okay.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, you dumb dog?
Ew.
You're a hoe. You're a hoe.
So, lady,
There's two of us. Which one are you talking to?
wait, are you guys playing with these guys?
We're a full squad.
And you enjoy them talking to women like this?
We ignore them.
We ignore them. Okay, yeah, no, it doesn't. All right.
I'm sorry. Please talk shit.
Oh my god, I'm a woman. You gotta be nice to me even though this is a man's game. Like, bitch, shut up.
Please call her a bitch.
Dramatic
Please call her a
music.
bitch.
Yo, lady, call me a bitch. I dare you.
You're a bitch.
Why don't you put some dick in your pussy? Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Damn, this is easy.
I feel like you got dick up your throat. Shut the fuck up.
Too easy, guys. Oh my god.
The dramatic editing is my favorite part. Like I love whoever she pays to edit her videos deserves a raise.
Yo, she's triggering me.
You faggot bitch. Shut the fuck
You
up.
dumb bitch. You're gonna disrespect women like that?
You can take that flag and put up your pussy, you stink bitch.
Brother, why are you guys so upset?
Cause your voice is fucking annoying.
Damn, this kind of easy, not gonna lie.
You're easy. That's why your pussy's loose. Anyway.
Oh, you're a pick me? Okay.
Absolutely. Pick me for real women.
What the fuck is the woman?
Aww.
Ugh. Okay.
So she said, I went against this pick-me Twitch streamer, Simply Shroomy, who sadly streams off Xbox, so we can't hear her teammates on her live. But after this game, she found out who I was, ended her live stream, and had her mods beg mine in DMs not to report her or make a video on her. So of course, I had to make a video on her. Just because you're not the one directly being extremely homophobic, you're still a part of the problem if you associate with people like this and instigate them. So she's on a war against the pick-me's in gaming.
I need to get Simply Shroomy on our show.
It looks like she's trying to keep this under wraps and it's not working. So I don't know if she's going to be willing to do that, but this is what this woman does for a living.
She's
She's an
around.
activist against meanies in Xbox Live voice
What
chat.
was that? What bully hunters?
Yes.
Like, isn't this bully hunters?
Do you recall Bully Hunters?
No, what
Okay.
is this?
So this is You ready to go down? You ready to get out
There's
your
lore.
shovel?
There's lore behind this.
Let me
Get out your
hear
shovel
it.
because we're about to do some digging right here. All right, here we go. So yes, the bully hunters, about 2016, a group of women got together. They did this exact same thing. This was a funded thing.
Okay.
That and their idea
Wasn't
was
there government funding behind some of this stuff too? Like,
I can't confirm or deny
Yeah.
on this, but what I can say is that they had a giant, well-produced presentation, a live stream,
All right.
and the whole premise is that if you're getting bullied online, they will enter the game that you're doing, that you're in, kill the person who's bullying you, and then leave some sort of like derogatory message, be like, "That's what you get for bullying," right? And
it's literally the.
Okay.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, it's like whatever the opposite of a nerd power fantasy is. It's like a really, really moralistic busybodies power fantasy.
it was. It lasted like 3 days
Okay.
before it shut down, and it was a very big deal. Steel Series is the company that got behind it, which is a big chair company. And man, this is exactly this girl is trying to bring back bully hunters, and it didn't work the first time. I think it's phenomenal. This is great stuff.
This is the world that they live in now. Like you're not allowed to have the space where you're allowed to operate in the way you want to operate. Some moralistic person has to come in and yell at you for existing in a space that's different than the one that they would prefer to be in. And it's hilarious.
We got a 20 from Zach. Cash Cab OG aired on Discovery. You couldn't go past your destination to continue the game. You had the time it took to get to your destination to win money, and people in the car didn't compete. It was a group effort. Got it. Yeah,
Okay.
It's been a while since I watched Cash Cab, but I'm glad you're passionate about it. So Unmute posted an entire response to what you just said. We've seen a lot of comments from people responding to our content saying things along the lines of, "It's just a game. It's just toxicity. Get over it." To be clear, we're not advocating against toxicity. We're advocating against bigotry, harassment, misogyny, and racism in online gaming spaces.
So you can be toxic, you just can't be that
Right.
type of toxic.
If you have to
Like,
go
what
so
else is
far
left?
as to make fun of someone for who they are as a person, throw racist remarks and slurs out there, you're not being toxic, you're being a bigot, a racist, and an awful person. Calling someone out on their shitty gameplay is fun and can make for awesome competition, but there's a line that we're trying to define here.
An arbitrary line that they get to tell you what
Right,
exists.
right. Yeah. Tell me where that line is. Also, tell me you've never done anything competitive ever in your life without telling me
you never
done-
played sports. That's
Right,
for sure, right?
right.
Like the whole point of playing sports was like that was the best part, right? Is people talking shit to each other.
This is the thing that I don't think people truly understand, whether it comes to games or sports or anything competitive. There is the physical aspect of it, of actually playing the game, digital or real. Then there's the mental aspect of the game, which it plays way bigger role. And I got to be honest,
Michael Jordan was an expert trash talker.
Larry Bird, expert trash talker. You talk to anybody in the league right now, they will break your ass down because they want to take you out of your game.
You have to you try to mentally destroy them so that they can't compete physically.
100%.
It's really funny. One of my favorite movies growing up, everybody loves the movie Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I love the movie Little Big League, which was a Minnesota baseball movie. And in it, Ken Griffey Jr. he plays a total heel where he hits a home run and he makes fun of everybody. And then he's on first. And he's like, first I'm going to steal second. Then I'm stealing third. Then I'm stealing home. I like the idea that good guy Ken Griffey Jr. is just a dick.
We got another 20 from Zach. Yesterday, I was going to ask about the 3-hour-long version of the intro music you guys said you would put out. I wake up today and an hour-long version is on Trash
There you
House
go.
Records. So weird, but I'm glad, happy.
That is crazy that he
You're
was talking
welcome.
about it the other day because it was like a year. It feels like a year ago. That
I
we were
forgot that
talking
we
about.
were even talking about
Yep.
that, but now it's here thanks to Carter.
You have to be able to deal with shit talk or you can't be competitive.
Yes.
But this is why
anything.
it's a male space. Am I wrong?
I mean
That's why.
not inherent. I mean, maybe
That's why
inherently,
it
but not
attracts
entirely.
men and why it's
Yes.
predominantly male.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's this false. Okay, you're gonna hear the stat that's thrown out all the time is that video games are 50% women and 50% men. That is just a stat that has been thrown out forever.
because of phone games, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because the way it's more like 80-20, and I think that's very low. But I think it's realistically more like 90-10 from a console and PC perspective, mainly console. And then you flip that because there's not a whole lot of guys hanging out playing Candy Crush or Words with Friends. I'm just going to throw it out
Yeah.
there, right? because I think the demographics switch, but it's all lumped into one big pot. So that's how you get the 50-50 split right here. So, but in a situation like you're playing Call of Duty, yes, I would say the demographic very much in that game is males 18 to 29. I think Activision will tell you that.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a response video that she posted in that thread if you have it.
Is it this
There.
one right here?
Yeah.
It's like 8 minutes long.
Oh, we're not even bothering.
What's up, everybody?
I'm not watching any video. Props to her editor though for doing a fantastic job of like weaving that in together.
This is just the worst type of person with
Yep.
the most time on their hands. I know that it's not enjoyable for some people to be in that type of environment, but it's entirely your choice. And there are so many, like, how can you be talking about Xbox live chats when there's a genocide going on in Gaza? But genuinely, though, there are bigger problems to worry about.
And the worst part is people like this, the person who just interrupts your life and gets involved in your business for reasons they believe to be moral is the person who will never leave you alone because they believe that they're on like a mission from God.
It's like this lady would love running a gulag.
No, what it is? She's exactly who runs a homeowners association. This lady tells you your lawn is too long, your lawn needs to be cut, and that your shrubs can't cover the front entranceway.
We have a 20 from CR Vox. Hey, Craig, glad to see you on PCC. Shout out to Side Scrollers. These awfuls denounce bullying as long as they get to be the mean girls. Say hi to Blabs.
Hey, Blabs.
Yep.
There you go.
Hey, well, let me say. So I looked, just did a quick Google search, and it is what it is. As far as the Call of Duty demographics, it says the average age of a Call of Duty player is 27 years old. Right?
Does that feel right to you?
Yes.
See, that honestly seems like right where it should be.
Yes, seems exactly where it should be right here. It says, now this is where it does not line up. And I don't think this is true at all. It says, female gamers make up 48% of the Call of Duty player base. I think if you were to go to talk to anybody who works at GameStop, Target, any sort of retailer, 48% of the people walking out of their retail establishment that are buying Call of Duty are not women.
You know what? Because it would actually feel like higher percentages because they would remember the women more than they would remember the men because they're in the place less.
Like, have you been to a GameStop lately?
Exactly.
Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Well, also, no one goes to buy physical games anymore at this point.
Well, okay.
I understand your point,
Right,
though. I
but-
find it hard to believe as well.
But with that said, when was like, let's say you were to, I don't think the demographics have shifted that much
Right.
in from the time that GameStop was relevant to today. I don't think by making it digital, 30% more women bought Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But even if that stat were true and gaming were totally split 50-50, does that need to fundamentally change the culture around it? Why is that?
Well, no, because
the expectation.
Well, that's the idea is they want to constantly shift and change the culture associated with it. You know,
like remember when Star Wars Theory was getting a ton of hate in that Rolling Stone hit piece because he had a female guest on his channel saying Star Wars is for men, let them have their little thing, women don't care about Star Wars, just let men have it. And everyone got so mad because he just he didn't push back on the idea that Star Wars doesn't primarily appeal to women, even though it's factually true.
It's the same argument people make about what the internet is, which is like when I say that I like apples. Well, so you're saying oranges are awful? When I say that Star Wars is a predominantly male space, I'm not saying, when I say Star Wars is a male space, I'm not saying that no women like it. I'm saying that by and large, the majority are men.
Right.
And that's the problem is that that's either one of two things. You're either being unbelievably disingenuous and pretending like you don't know that that's what they mean, or or worse, maybe you're too stupid to understand any level of nuance when discussing something like that.
Well, it's like if I went to a knitting expo, right? And I walked in and I was like, "Hey, what's wrong? This isn't a man's, all you toxic feminine women in here protecting your hobby. This needs to be more inclusive."
Exactly.
Thank
dance.
you. Why aren't you dancing? Dance, monkey.
Monkey, you dance. You get the shoulders going for you a little.
There's this meme that goes around where the guy says he's like, men need to pretend like they've loved Lifetime movies their whole lives,
Right.
and then just put big titty pirates in it and be like, I've always wanted to see a Lifetime movie with big titty pirates. I've imagined this forever.
Are we just making it rain today? What's
Yes,
going on?
we are.
Let's go.
But you're right. Like if men went to knitting circles and were like, you're not nearly inclusive enough to men.
the fuck?
He's gonna get used to it, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
I'm saying like look at your desks.
Yes.
This is what we have to clean up.
You can see it on the PTZ a little bit here. Here, let me see if I can switch it here.
You
with
say
this
it like
camera.
it's a negative. We have to clean up all this money.
Well, really, what we should do is have like a net to catch all the money, but
Yeah.
we haven't gotten
They
around
can
to
see.
it.
They can see Mary's.
My what? Oh yeah.
There's no camera on that one today, but they can see on the PTZ. But they can see.
She's our fourth
the
seat
shot
today.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's move on then, shall we? We got a bunch of stuff to get into still. So, as you guys know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she was the creator of the show Fleabag, which was her one crowning accomplishment. After that, she's now known as the lady who made the most recent Indiana Jones movie unbelievably insufferable. Mm-hmm. It is true. Well, she was also attached to do the new Tomb Raider series over at Amazon. Here's the problem. After the failure of The Acolyte, people are now wondering if it's possible that this might just end up getting scrapped because it would fall, maybe they need to focus more on making it how people actually want Tomb Raider to look, which is a uniquely, if we're talking about mainstream IP that has like value beyond just in gaming circles, but also, the average person who doesn't game regularly knows who Lara Croft is, right? And we talk about how video game characters have been uglied up in recent years. Lara Croft is a bit of a battleground. And you would have to worry if a feminist getting involved with making a show about her is going to affect how the character is going to look. So people are going to be hesitant right from the start.
Look at her annoying face. She has bad intentions.
She's literally looking at you. She's like, she's not going to look like that. Not on my watch.
You said they were just so grateful that Phoebe Waller-Bridge isn't going to play Lara Croft.
Yeah, they're like, oh, at least
we'll let you have this one.
Okay.
Phoebe.
Look, they did Alicia Vikander in the 2018 version, and even that one I thought didn't work as well, even though I liked Walton Goggins in that film. The very first Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie is still a fantastic movie, and I don't care what anyone has to say about it. I will not accept your Tomb Raider 1 slander here. But this is what it says. It says, even though back in May, Amazon officially announced the series, a new report offers that Tomb Raider of the series may not happen. This is from Puck News, which is run by the former editor of The Hollywood Reporter, writes with an article entitled, The Best and Worst TV's Deals of Peak TV, that people within the industry doubt that Waller-Bridge's Tomb Raider series will see the light of day. Look, the strike played a big role in a lot of the industry being like, maybe we can just cancel stuff. Like, look, Batgirl, we'll just cancel it and take the tax write-off. Okay?
Yeah, but if Amazon is signing off on My Lady Jane, this is also on the table.
My guess is way less. Okay, so if you don't know what My Lady Jane was, My Lady Jane, guys, we did a video on it. I encourage everyone to go look at it. It's an alt history show for feminists wherein the King of England is black, gay, and disabled.
Yes. I've heard about this.
With an absolutely bitchin' looking wheelchair.
This is their bread and butter,
Yes.
is what I'm saying.
But
I don't think they're going to necessarily scrap it because it's going to be woke.
I believe more money would be dumped into a Lara Croft series, to a Tomb Raider series, than ever would be into.
Who
My
would
Lady
play
Jane.
her?
I don't know. I mean, everyone's just gonna say Sydney Sweeney.
Let's just get Angelina Jolie back out of retirement.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Would she do it? I don't think she would do it.
No, probably.
Oh, like old man Lara, like
Yeah,
old
yeah.
man Logan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be great.
It says Variety also previously reported on the hiring of McDonald. This is Megan McDonald who's doing the series. If you want to know what her writing credits include, it's The Marvels, WandaVision, and the upcoming Agatha series that literally nobody is going to watch.
Yeah.
So all the worst shit.
Yes. I mean, there's people that like WandaVision, but The Marvels isn't exactly thought of highly. And again, I don't think anybody actually cares about the Agatha series because they took a song that went viral and tried to make a series out of it, much in the way that they tried to make the Echo show that, again, nobody cared about or watched. Why wouldn't you hire people that have a genuine passion for the project, or at the very least have a track record of pulling off stuff like this? I would have rather they got Nolan to do this, considering they actually like his Fallout series.
I think there's a really easy solution when it comes to dealing with taking these IPs and bringing them over to Hollywood movies and stuff, especially when it comes to video games, is oftentimes you're looking at a game or a franchise that has seen success, right? Tomb Raider's been around for 20 plus years now, 30 years almost. So it clearly got a sequel. People clearly liked, I don't know, maybe the story of it. So how about you just take the story beat by beat and recreate the game as a movie? I think it seems like a very simple premise. You could literally just do that and recreate the game as a movie. And I know that's not the same as saying I'm going to make a Tomb Raider series. It's I want to make the Tomb Raider game a movie. Yeah. It seems very simple, but people want to add their creative touch to things. They want to add their propaganda to things, and that's the issue, man. That's why people aren't into what's being thrown down right now. Yeah, it's very hard when you talk about. Look, nobody liked Halo either. And Halo got dunked on from the very beginning because of what they did to Master Chief. Mm-hmm. And it's you'd think that it would be easier to adapt games like what they're doing with The Last of Us, which again got a second season, but I don't think that there's the same level of enthusiasm you would have hoped for back, considering the size of the video game industry and the amount of people that play video games. Well, yeah, they see. That's what they see. They see the size of the audience. Mm-hmm. Well, surely we can capture this, but what they don't realize is that the audience that's viewing and playing these things are super passionate about these characters and the stories that are and so there's no wiggle room at all when it comes to adding their people's personal flair to it. So like the Uncharted movie with Wahlberg and stuff, like it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, it was fine. Like, here's the thing: if you didn't play the game, it's a perfectly serviceable, generic, adventure movie. Right. And Tom Holland is okay enough. And Mark Wahlberg is okay enough. Was it Mark Wahlberg that was in it? Yeah, I think it was. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It's been so long. But again, unbelievably forgettable and not memorable in any way. Yeah, it was just a movie. But you could do more. Like I say, I would love to see, what I'd love to see is either a Metal Gear Solid movie or a Duke Nukem movie. But they'll never make a Duke Nukem movie. No, you don't want to do that. Yeah. You don't want to. You certainly don't want a Metal Gear Solid movie because the movie will last about 18 hours. But they won't be able to condense. If they're gonna, it's about finding where to condense, right? Right. And that's very, very difficult. But for something like this, look, she was not good in Indiana Jones, and she's had a lot of say in scripts and stuff like that. Apparently she was brought in, if I remember correctly, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, she was brought in as like a script doctor for the last James Bond movie, and that movie wasn't as bad as it could have been. It was just boring in my estimation. It was at No Time to Die. But look, I don't want her involved in this. I find literally anybody else.
Lena Dunham.
No, it's just awful. This is just some of her old quotes. It says Waller-Bridge also previously talked about discussing Lara Croft in the writer's room. She has an attitude. She was very deliberate in what she wanted to do. That all changed when they realized they could market her as a sex symbol. She's already talking about what she shouldn't be talking about. She's not talking about stories. She's not talking about bringing certain aspects of gameplay to life. She's talking about the cultural impact of the character, not anything to do with the actual game.
She said she's a Tomb Raider, so she's incredibly fit. She has to squeeze through tiny rock crevices all the time. It is a different experience squeezing through small rock crevices when you have larger boobs than if you have smaller boobs.
This is an unbelievable cope that feminists do. It's the same thing when they talk about when a Mortal Kombat character isn't wearing combat-ready clothing. They're not supposed to.
Hold on. It's a freaking video game.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be.
What it is. It's the worst time of destruction of beauty aesthetic in the name of feminism, with some bullshit explanation that's just thrown in there, and because it kind of makes sense, but ignores the artistic aspect of all of this, there are idiots who will buy it.
This idea of what'd she say? The exact line was when they realized they could turn her into a sex symbol.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lara Croft's first design? Mm-hmm. She had a waist that's this big, and boobs the size of Hello Kitty over there. Yep. Like, I'm just saying, when they realized that, the entire idea was to make a sex symbol. Why? Because you're selling it to boys and men who, that is the demographic. Congratulations.
Yes. Yep.
Well, they're not turning her into a sex symbol. She always...
Yeah.
She was built to be a sex symbol. She was
created to be that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a dirty word now. You're not allowed to do that. It's in a lot of ways, I think that there's a destruction of that type of beauty in Hollywood.
She was such a sex symbol that there was a nude code in the games. Like, they knew what they were doing. Those polygons worked for a lot of kids in the 90s.
I love the memes that go around every so often where it's like it shows like Trish Stratus in like WWE No Mercy. It says like 12-year-old me, and it shows Stone Cold going, "Oh hell yeah,
Oh, hell yeah. Right.
All right, let's move on then, shall we? I think you guys touched on this a little bit on your show today, which is that Rotten Tomatoes doesn't like the fact. You know what it is? Actually, no, I've changed my mind. Rotten Tomatoes hates democracy. They hate democracy. They don't want the fans to have a voice anymore.
Let them know.
So what they're doing is they're introducing an updated version of the audience score, which has been removed to have a verified popcorn meter where the only people that are allowed to have a say in the audience are people with verified accounts who can prove that they bought movie tickets through Fandango.
Only through Fandango.
Yes, because they own both.
Yes. So not only are you paying for the right to see the movie, the opportunity to see the movie, you're also paying for the opportunity to potentially review the movie.
So think of all the people who are out of luck in this situation like this. What if you
Hold on,
went
we got
with...
a 20 from Lyman de Coconut. I think games like Call of Duty primarily appeal to people who like trash talking, so trying to get rid of that only diminishes the appeal. I don't get joy out of trash talking, but that's probably why I mostly play single player. And another 20 from Dat Pie over there. Hey, when are we gonna have a twink and a redhead on PCC? I feel like y'all might catch something having them on site. Heck, they might give Craig or Blabs something through the screen if they get them on side scrollers.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't think they would like us very much.
Yeah.
We could ask.
We could always try.
They would run and scream harassment so quick, so fast.
But they have a good sense of humor, so maybe they would make a good fit. I don't know.
Well, no, that's the funny thing is like a lot of the accounts I like are probably from people who wouldn't like me very much.
Cities by Diana.
Just because I like your content doesn't mean you'd like me. I can laugh at both sides of the aisle, right? So we follow. I follow this account that I regularly play on here. A lady, her name's Cities by Diana, and she does brain rot joke content related
like,
to maps,
civic planning, basically.
Nice.
Where she talks about gas maxing.
It's extremely niche.
Yes, but she would hate us. But I love her content. So
yeah.
All right. So basically, if you want to review something on Rotten Tomatoes and you want to have your voice heard, you got to buy a ticket and prove that you bought a ticket through Fandango.
So how does that work? Do you buy it through the app and then it's tied to Fandango or tied to Rotten Tomatoes, and then and only then? See, because I can buy a ticket. Does that mean that what if I don't actually see the movie?
Right. Yeah. If you're that dedicated to giving it a hate review, why not? But this is profit driven. I don't think this is ideological.
Think so? I mean, I think a little bit of both. I think that Rotten Tomatoes has a niche interest in trying to appeal to like a lot of the articles.
What do they gain from silencing negative reviews?
I mean, better reviews means more people go to the movie, which means more people buy tickets.
But that inherently profits Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, okay, so it says let me go back up to the top.
Like
here.
I don't get what they have to gain from keeping people from saying negative things about movies.
Okay, so the popcorn meter, I have to find. Oh no, these are the ones connected to. So it says Rotten Tomatoes has officially dropped its traditional audience score in favor of new verified popcorn meter. I thought it was owned by a company that. So it says the system will only measure ticket ratings from fans who have already purchased tickets through Fandango, who owns Rotten Tomatoes.
Right, I understand how that profits them.
So better reviews show up, and then people buy more tickets through Fandango to go see the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's actually multiple layers to this. I think that.
We have a 20 before you get to that point. Pop Culture Junkie said this whole Fandango review change stinks. It means the reviews are biased towards people who use Fandango, which is not an accurate example.
So what it is there's too much of a monopoly on what is seen as the authority on these voices, right? So people who only who use Fandango are going to become who speaks for the larger audience. So
I think we'd be really ignorant if we didn't think that these movie studios who have a lot of money invested in their projects haven't spoken to these major review companies to say, hey, you know, it'd be great if our movie wasn't review bombed before it got out the gate, right? So what can we do about that? Maybe not suggesting anything, but just saying, what can we do? Because we're releasing this thing. There's a ton of negative publicity around this thing, and we don't want to see this thing fail before it has an opportunity to succeed. So I think what happened was, and I think that you're right, that it is profit driven, but at the same time, I think that this is an opportunity for them to more or less take care of one while bettering another situation, right? The idea that like, oh yeah, yes, so this is what we're going to do. They're a movie studio, big company A. We're going to take out the anonymity of reviews, and we're going to, and at the same time, we're going to make sure all these reviews are verified and how are we going to do it? We're going to make money, and everyone's going to make money. So I think there's probably multiple layers to this. But I do think that what they're doing is they're going to remove themselves from the conversation because people are going to stop looking at Rotten Tomatoes as an authority. Now, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I think in 2 years from now, instead of Rotten Tomatoes, you're going to be saying, what's it say on whatever platform?
There's a platform now called Criticlist that a lot of people are using that I do recommend going over there. They're fantastic voices in the space, so I would go and check that out. But if you're wondering who owns it, I do remember a long time ago that the CEO of Rotten Tomatoes was an ex-Disney exec, but 25% is owned by Warner Brothers and 75% NBC Universal.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Well, it
seems like a conflict of interest to me.
Right. It's strange to me because I don't think most moviegoers actually do look at reviews before they see movies.
No, it's a huge cope to pretend like people are using this.
It doesn't actually factor in.
What it is they've cornered the market on being part of the culture war more than anything. Like the most relevant part of Rotten Tomatoes is the culture war aspect, meaning that people go and use it for some sign that a movie's either good or bad, and their industry is still addicted to using critic reviews as some type of proof that a movie is good, right? Which we all know is not true anymore.
Also, this won't apply to TV shows, right?
No, it will not.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you can still review bomb a TV show.
I don't know. I think back to what you're saying about you don't think people look at reviews before they go see a movie?
No, I think
people, word of mouth on the internet is king now.
Social media, and if your friend actually said to you, I went and saw this, it was good.
Literally, like your friend Bob is the most important person when it comes to reviews. If you got a normie friend, like I use my dad as a barometer for how big a movie can actually get. Like I still remember when my dad's like, yeah, we went and saw Joker. I'm like, you went to a movie theater? What? And he went to see Top Gun Maverick. So like those were two huge cultural moments just a couple years apart. And that's because normal people, there you go, normal guys went and saw the movie. Yeah. Right? And that's your barometer.
Yeah, I don't think that most people are looking at reviews. And in the age of social media, if people have a grievance and they lose a place to voice it on this specific platform, it's just going to go elsewhere. It actually just amplifies the negative talk about your movie or show on Twitter, rather than having a place for it on a review site where it's supposed to be. So this doesn't actually help their case.
Somebody said, what is it, Criticless? I'm like, no, or Criticlist. It's like, no, it's called Criticless. And I texted it. It's right down there in the live chat.
So it's just audience reviews.
And you can have your whole platform where you can have an account where it's just your reviews for stuff like that. And there's great people over there. I know Odin from OMB Reviews does a lot of reviews over on there. So I do recommend you go and check those out. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's move on then, shall we? What would you like to see? Well, we let the guests decide on Fridays. What would you like to see first? Cringe of the day or cute of the day?
Cringe.
Cringe first. Okay, we got two?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can sandwich them if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. What is this first one here, Mary?
I haven't seen this one. I don't know what you have pulled up. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, that was... I didn't see that coming. You're so mean. I love it.
I didn't make it. I'm not mean.
But you found it and you brought it to my attention. Okay. I was like, what is it? It's just two people over... I was like, look, am I supposed to be laughing at their weight? It's two people enjoying a concert. And then I heard the tugboat horn, and I
would have been laughing anyway.
Okay.
Are they at a Taylor Swift concert? Is that the idea?
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know that they like sell leotards in that size. That's crazy.
Maybe she made it herself.
The inclusive sizing is impressive.
Let's do cute of the day. Oh, there we go.
Third party of the day. giving it your all now.
Yeah. Listen,
Oh, he's doing the robot. Okay.
it took a little bit, but here I am.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Let's do cue to the day. We will sandwich them today. First one.
Oh, we
here-
also have a
no.
Trump of the day
Yes.
after the cringe.
Okay, well, we'll do the cue to the day first
Yes.
then here. All right, this one is from Brian. Says, this is Jack, the little master manipulator fluff ball when he's lying on the ground. Also, he's not fat. He's just long boned.
Oh,
That is a cute cat right there.
so fluffy.
It's a fat cat.
Guys, I want you to submit your pets if you have your, especially if you're new here. Go to the show. It's at popculture_show and tag me in it as well at Brett Dasovic on Twitter and post pictures of your pet with the hashtag PCCPets and we will sign them up for Cue to the Day. Let's look at a couple more from this one.
So cute.
That's a fat cat right
It is.
there. Look at that. Look at that
No.
big pussy. Let's go.
All right, we got one more here. This one's from Cookie Dunn. He says,
Skinny
but
pussy.
I wasn't done playing outside.
Nice.
So cute.
So are y'all cat people or dog people?
I'm a cat person.
Yeah?
I don't know about you.
I'm ambivalent to the two. Either or.
Yeah.
Either or. I live with cats, but dogs are just as good.
yeah.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I have no doubt that the studios will get their own staff, friends of staff, and relatives to get Fandango accounts and then pay for their tickets to game the reviews.
Well, I mean, look, it's been a long held belief, and everybody knows that in the book industry, they will buy up copies of their own book to get it New York Times bestseller
Right.
status, right?
that status is on every single new book, and it doesn't mean anything.
What if that's what it was? Like all these movies that you go to that supposedly do well, but there's nobody at the theater with you. It's because the theater just bought all the tickets.
Well,
It's not because nobody went.
and for Pop Culture Junkie is right. It's that it simply becomes a marketing expense. That's
They
all.
just
Yeah.
write it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Perfectly
simple.
believable. All right. Let's do the second cringe of the day here.
Oh, we got more?
We got more cringe.
Let's
here.
go.
Let's
More
go.
cringe.
It says any restaurant owner or manager that allows this does not care about its customers. What the? That like waitress keeping a straight face because what she wants to do more than anything is to quit right now and just
So
go
not
home
worth the tips.
and just go home.
I mean, I'm watching this and I want to quit life right now after watching this.
Bro just got golden showered at a restaurant and I'm not here for it. I don't
I feel
like it.
so bad for the people sitting behind him.
I mean, I get playing it up for the camera. I get it.
It's like the people. It's
I don't
when-
like the whole I love food thing.
Right.
Like I hate that.
I mean, I do love food, but at the same time, I'm not going to be squirming like a little girl when there's a
It's like that
bucket of
TikTok of the
mayonnaise.
girl like dancing while the IHOP waitress like puts her pancakes on the table.
Right,
She's
right,
like,
right.
Like stop.
Right,
You don't
right,
love
right.
food that much.
I'm about to get sustenance.
Well, it's. I mean, it's if you do that on your own and there's no camera. I guess that's weird but wholesome.
Right.
Because you set up your phone like against a drink and did this, like perfectly framed it so that like you're at the edge of the frame. Oh, are my hands out of the shot in this? No, they're perfect. It's just creepy.
You know what's great about that guy? In about 6 months, he's going to be really fat because
Oh, they gotta work out a lot
Yeah,
if you're gonna make a living doing that. All right, so we got Trump of the day here.
Yeah.
What is
yeah.
this one? It says when you have money but no time. Okay, here we go.
LA people. I'm sorry, Mr. Trump. There's a delivery truck blocking your car right now. We're gonna get it moved. I'm sorry. It'll take like a couple minutes, I swear.
I don't have a couple of minutes. I'm busy. You know, I'm making money. I'm busy. Hey, by the way, whose car is this? Whose is it? I like this car. Is this your car?
Yes.
Well, you know what? I'm buying it. I need it. I need it fast. I'm buying it.
You're buying my car.
Here's your check.
It's literally, you know what it is? It's the scene from The Dark Knight where like he brings the girls to the hotel when he goes out to dinner and they start swimming in the water fountain and like a waiter's like, you can't do that here. And he's like, I'm buying this hotel. And he puts a check in the
yeah, I
waiter's
forgot about that.
jacket pocket. Like that's how you buy a
Right.
hotel. No deeds, no loans, no
Yeah.
contracts. You just write some employee at the hotel a check for a generic amount of money. And that's how you buy a hotel.
Have
then he buys the children. Look.
Yeah, this is a skit, right?
You know what this is? Okay, this is a deep cut. Anybody who does love wrestling, do you know who Angry Ms. Girl is?
No.
Angry Ms.
yes.
Girl. Yes. Okay. So she's this girl who's famous for making this mean face when The Miz came out once, and it went down in infamy. It was used in endless skits and promos, and they did a thing like a follow up years later, like whatever happened to Angry Ms. Girl. They need to do whatever happened to these kids and this lady. I would love to know what they think of Donald Trump now.
That's great.
Probably not great.
That was literally the greatest thing I've ever watched in the entire time we've done this show.
Dude, how can you hate? Like,
How can you hate this guy?
Like,
I don't get it. I love him.
Literally, that was the greatest thing we've ever watched.
He's so self-aware. Like, that's the thing. And I'm guessing this was during the Apprentice, right? That was his thing.
Probably, yeah.
So they had him on, and all it took was him running for office for them to flip on him, and all of a sudden he's no longer. We need to bring back the Trumpster. Hey, you voting for the Trumpster or what?
Oh my God!
Buckle up, you kids! I just bought. I love him so much.
What a statement! That you like. If you guys have notifications or anything on, like visual audio notifications, you should make that. Buckle up, you kids! I just bought.
He needs to make more skits like that.
Yeah.
Go down to the southern border and make that same skit.
At one of the detention centers.
It's hilarious.
All right. Now that we're 1 hour and 8 minutes into the show, let's go ahead and get started then, Mary, shall we?
Yes.
Oh, we're just starting?
We're just starting now.
We're just getting started. Don't you
wrapping up.
worry.
I was like, all right.
So earlier this week, we talked about the cancellation of The Acolyte. They are not going to get a season 2. And we went through a lot of the cope tweets from the people who were shilling for the show. And they've gone so far as to start a change.org petition, which are notorious for making real change in the real world.
That's right.
So they have mobilized support for the series. They're trying to revive it. They're trying to pressure Disney to bring it back. And here the petition was started by an anonymous user, Blue Smith. This says, The Acolyte opened the doors for so many Star Wars fans, new and old, to feel seen. Now we know what this is about.
That's exactly why I watch television and movies. I watch Blade to be seen.
Yes, to feel welcomed and accepted by an IP and fandom that hadn't previously been so for anyone who didn't check off certain boxes. Not only that, but The Acolyte became a beacon for representation that many fans have felt was lacking in the Star Wars universe for decades. With both creators and actors that truly understood Star Wars, The Acolyte quickly became a fan favorite because of the clear passion and love shown in the work and the drive to give us something new and fresh to fall in love with. New characters with new stories that still existed within the same galaxies we cherished. Regardless of the orchestrated review bombing by a small faction of loud trolls and all of the other obstacles this show had to face straight out the gate, it trended repeatedly throughout and after the show aired. It has a very dedicated fan base willing to fight for its continuation. It's a story that deserves to be told.
Well, unfortunately, none of that matters if your dedicated fan base is tiny.
Made up of 12 people.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and they're saying it trended. It trended because people were shitting on it.
Yes.
That's why it trended on social media.
It's got 20,000 signatures. It's what it's got right now.
So looking at it right now,
Right.
This has 23,505 signatures. And there's a very simple solution to this. Very simple solution. If they would like for this to come back, what was it, $180 million?
Divide it by 180 million divided by 20,000.
So all 23,505 of them, if they would just donate to Disney $7,657.95, then they can absolutely bring it back. And here's the thing. Every time somebody adds to the list and actually goes in and signs the change.org petition, they have to sign it and also give $7,657.
What they can do is like they put the amount, and then every time a signature adds, it lessens the amount you have to donate to be part of it.
That's how you make things happen. That's a great petition platform where it's like, hey, here's the thing. We need $100,000, right? And as it goes in, it gets divided equally, but you're on the hook for that at the end of the day, right? You have to pay for it.
So if you get in early, it's the people who have the most money who's like, look, if nobody else signs up for it, I'm on the hook for, like, one person donates and says, but you got to pay all $180 million.
They're never going to put their money where their mouth is. Their mouth is all they have. And I love that change.org has this feature. It's top supporter voices, where they gathered a bunch of these self-made videos defending the show. We're going to watch a few of these. They're really bad.
These are the best.
I like the Acolyte. I love the Acolyte. I couldn't get enough of it. I've been on YouTube looking at all the videos that people have made about it.
Not all of them.
Manny Jacinto and Amanda Stenberg, bring them back. Bring back the actor that plays Saul. I just love this show, and it deserves another try. And I don't see why, just because some of the Star Wars fans don't.
Well, I guess she got cut off.
Yes.
There's another one next to it I wanted to watch.
This is the best.
Was pretty bad.
This is the best feature on change.org.
I love it.
It's really important to have diversity in many of the stories that are told these days. And just because it may be uncomfortable or new, I remember back when the prequels were first out, everybody bashed them, but now everybody loves them. It's a new generation, and allow each generation to have their Star Wars.
Okay.
There was one last one I wanted to watch from the guy with the white glasses.
Before we get there, look, this is the thing. I made a tweet the other day. I said, I'm a huge fan of police procedurals. It's perhaps my favorite genre in all of television. There's a couple that I have never watched that are evergreen classics that I've started watching, which is NYPD Blue and Homicide: Life on the Street. Those shows were more naturally diverse back in 1993 than 90% of the stuff that comes out now. Okay? So don't let them, she said, just because it's new, like diversity is somehow new. Stop lying, weirdo.
No, but DEI departments are new.
Okay. Here we go. This guy?
Me and this guy right here, we would like to take a moment to ask Disney to please continue the Acolyte Season 2. It seems like a very small contingent of Imperial spies has infiltrated the Rebel Alliance and trying to keep us from enjoying the content that we want. So please.
Unfortunately, the Rebel Alliance is actually even smaller because nobody watched the show. So that's the problem.
Listen, I would like to find this guy. And I would like to ask if he's willing to pay $7,945.95 to bring the Acolyte back.
I don't think they are.
You
I
don't?
think they're willing to do it.
What?
I don't know. I think it's much easier to sit on your ass and sign up for change.org to
I did see somebody
send you promotional emails for the rest of your life.
Right.
I did see somebody in the chat say we need to make an anti-petition petition. That exists. Somebody made a don't renew the Acolyte petition as well, but it only had like 1,000 signatures.
Well, you can go find that one on change.org so you can fight back against this one.
Yep.
Now there are concerns that Disney is going to fully remove the Acolyte from Disney Plus entirely, just as they did with Willow.
Yeah.
How long was it between Willow getting canceled and it getting removed?
Not super long after, if I remember correctly.
I don't think they're gonna do it because it would just be humiliation piled on top of defeat.
I mean, they did, and the show did get canceled on Manny Jacinto's birthday, so
that was bad enough, right?
Yeah.
They also removed merchandise for the Acolyte on the Disney Store website, but then mysteriously put it back up a day later.
Look,
they're restocking.
What are they doing?
Well,
what's going on?
Because they removed Andor merch as well, and then that's back. So I mean, that could have just been a computer up. That could have been a lot of things.
They're just trying to erase all traces that this ever existed.
Yeah.
Look, their argument has been disingenuous from the start. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Disney executives are not sitting there ripping lines of Coke wondering what dudes on YouTube are saying.
No.
They want to look at what their viewing numbers are. And in the absence of ads, they need to justify a show's existence. And to do that, people have to go and actually watch the show. Right? People have to actually tune in. When your numbers fall below Andor, which were already considered low, considering the fact that it's probably the most well-respected of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and it doesn't reach Ahsoka numbers, it doesn't make it to any of that, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that that is the reason that it was canceled. And this is what I hate about these types of situations, because what's happening is everyone's talking past each other. I'm not celebrating this show getting canceled because it owns the libs. I just wasn't a show that I liked, and I understood that bad audience numbers means that it's not going to get renewed. But because there are people on the internet who are celebrating it, these people think that Disney looked at these people who made fun of this show for 8 weeks and said, this is why we're not going to renew it. They don't give a crap what you say if it's actually bringing in revenue. They don't care. They would gladly bolster the message that they were trying to push on this show and continue it if it meant that not only did they get to continue pushing the message, whatever that is in this show, and make money because there was people actually tuning in to watch. But there wasn't that. So there wasn't going to get renewed.
I feel like there's a big opportunity for a YouTube channel that's built just off of change.org testimonials like the ones we just saw.
Yeah.
Just taking those.
Underrated.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. That is great stuff.
There's more cringe if you want to pull up more videos.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go down this rabbit hole.
I love it.
Were there more cringes in this
Yeah,
in this thing?
I mean, all of them were.
I like everything about what's happening.
I'm just
right
gonna
now.
pick this guy because he's got the I can see the most of him. I don't think I can make these videos.
I don't
bigger.
think so. Yeah.
Renew the Acolyte. Save
creepy
the
as hell.
Acolyte. We want a second season. Don't let the haters win.
The haters didn't win. You lost because there weren't enough of you.
Continue the story. Give us the satisfying conclusion we need.
He sounds like
Renew
Kane
the-
from the 90s.
When he would talk like this with the voice changer.
Oh my God.
Acolyte. Save the...
Okay, let's do one more here.
Get the guy with the big forehead. That was pretty bad.
The Acolyte probably got canceled because of toxic people.
Toxic people.
I got called so many names because I like a TV show. And Disney is being quiet about it because they're probably listening to the toxic people that hate the show. Do better, Disney, because no one deserves to be called names.
He just hit him with the do better.
Do better.
He did, and it would be you'd be remiss if you didn't realize that Disney has not addressed his strife as well.
Correct.
He mentioned that. That's important. That
Yeah, like you
Just
don't
going
deserve to-
off of the reasons they're giving in these videos and in the petition, none of them actually like the show. You can tell. None of them actually
They
like the
want to
show. They
own the-
like what they think the show can do for society.
Yes, they want to own the chuds.
Right, exactly.
Own the chuds.
I don't genuinely believe anyone enjoyed The Acolyte unless they're just so beaten down by the low quality of content these days.
That guy has to know a lot about it. He's got a lot of information stored up there.
Collectively, our standards have dropped so far. And that's why I was disappointed by the Fallout series after watching a couple of episodes, and people were acting like it was a masterpiece just because it was tolerable to watch.
this is the fun thing about it. I'm looking at some of the text reviews on change.org, right?
okay.
We have to fight the bigots. There are more of us than there are of them. So just to be clear, if you don't like The Acolyte, you're racist.
Well, no. What you would do is you'd move it into 3 categories, right?
Yes.
So you have the people fighting bigotry, the people who don't like it that they consider bigots, and then there's the much larger group, which is all the people in the world that don't give a shit about your show.
Right.
That's the big group that you should be fighting by trying to get them to watch it, not fighting the minuscule group of people who are just talking shit to you online. It's not about left versus right or fans, Disney Star Wars fans or old Star Wars fans. It's all of the fans that you don't have anymore that just tuned out and don't care.
It's funny because it just reminds me of all the rhetoric that's been at the DNC for the past several days, where they're not really selling anyone on Kamala. They're just selling the idea that she's not Trump. And she's not a bully like Trump. And she's not loud and boisterous like Trump. And she doesn't have mean tweets like Trump. They can't shut the fuck up about the stuff that they hate to talk about what they love. They don't love anything about this show.
Let them know, Mary. Let them know. Let them know about it. This is great. I mean, I love... so many of these reviews this series started off slow and had its weak points, and it's always but it was a great voice for
But the
people of
protagonist
color.
is black and she has a
Right.
twat, so I love it. Like, that's literally what they're saying.
Yep, and it's extremely condescending. I think that's the most. It's a great voice.
She scissors in her spare time, so you should watch this show.
It made me feel seen.
Yeah.
That's right.
I hate these people.
All right, let's do some super chats there.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett, Mary, and Craig. After discussing The Crow with Brett last night, I officially hate everything. They ruined my 3rd favorite movie."
I don't blame you, bro.
We'll get to that.
I had the sad thing is, guys, is that the best way for me to do movie reviews would be to set up a camera in my car when I'm driving home from a movie, because that's where I basically trauma dump all of the ways in which
that would be great if you just did dash cam reviews.
Just like, guys,
and you're like,
they fucking destroyed Shelley, and it doesn't capture any of the innocence and love that the original movie had.
He went hard last night.
You just get into a crash.
I was sitting in the back seat just chomping on some red vines, and he's over here talking, dumping out his trauma on everybody. It was great.
Yeah, I love it.
Emotional
I love Angry
damage.
Brett.
I was like, did none of these idiots watch the original movie?
One time at band camp said, Craig, stop acting like a boomer.
That's what I do.
Absolutely Ruddy said, who's that normal man? Plug the t-shirt, Craig.
Hey, you guys go pick up a Normal Man t-shirt over at the website. I don't have a direct link. It's usually in the description of Side
Nice
Scrollers.
job.
Listen, you guys go to Side Scrollers Podcast, subscribe to us. It's really great. We're live Monday through Friday.
That is in the description.
Oh, good.
Yes,
good.
that is all of the social medias and the YouTube is in there.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said, good, I don't have to steal the theme from the pre-roll anymore.
There you go.
You're welcome for the meme material. Master Goa said, tell Craig WrestleMania, the arcade game, is best game.
Okay.
Well, he knows now.
Let's hold off on the rest, Mary. Let's talk about just whether or not playing video games is an acceptable hobby for an adult male.
Yes, so there was this post that went extremely viral for the past week where women ranked the least attractive hobbies for men. And at the very top of the list, the most unattractive hobby was playing video games. I have no idea if these stats are real. No one could find the actual source of where it came from.
Trust me, bro.
But Liz Wheeler posted it saying this is 100% true. Men playing video games is peak unattractive, beyond red flag, like deal breaker zone. It's weird that so many dudes don't get this.
It's funny because I met Liz. She's a nice lady. And when I saw this, I was like, man, I can think of a lot of people you wouldn't like then.
Well, the rest of the list is also interesting. Second, collecting figurines, magic tricks, online trolling, gambling, building model trains, taxidermy, comic book collecting, and bird watching.
So guys, there is some solace to be taken here. You can go out and you can lose your family's rent money or mortgage payment at the craps table as long as you're not at home playing video games.
Is gambling a hobby?
Yes.
Oh yeah, for a lot of people.
I mean, you could call it that, but I don't know if you should make it part of your identity. I think magic tricks are attractive, and I think online trolling is the most attractive trait. Most attractive hobby for any man is online trolling.
What if you play online poker? Is that gambling or is that video games?
I don't know.
Hey, listen, I don't know how to answer these questions.
So complicated.
This is tough. But you did mention this. So this poll actually did come from a TikToker who was making jokes. Apparently, this is a community note on X.
Yes. Right.
It says the TikToker was making a joke about them being bird watchers, and the poll was like,
But there was a similar one posted by an account on Instagram called Utah Stats, and it said they polled like a few hundred women in Utah to respond to rate how much more romantically interested you would be in an individual upon finding out they participate in the following hobbies. Video games was still at the top as the, I would be much less attracted to this person if they were interested in video games.
Okay, let's take the phrasing of that really
Yoga
quick.
and sewing and fishing were also on the list.
Okay, what's the phrasing on that? What's the question again one more time?
Rate how much more romantically interested you would be in an individual upon finding out they participate or engage in the following hobbies.
Okay, I'm just going to go on a limb here. I don't think that playing video games, for the vast majority of women, when you hear a guy play video games, you're like, all right, let me take off my pants, right? I don't think that happens, right?
Sure.
Right, but
for the majority.
But if you were to be like, if a guy was like, hey, I lift weights, right? And it wasn't like, some super roided out buff guy, right? To a woman that says, I take care of my body, right? I take care of my body. I'm gonna treat myself all right. So I would say that probably lifting weights is higher on the attractive list than video games, right? But with that said, it's a dumbass. This is a stupid stat, right? Like, how many men?
Well, the joke is always men, when they get into working out, that they do it because they think they're going to get women out of it. But then they end up loving it because it's good for them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea.
The joke is always like what I imagine going to the gym would be like, and it's him like he's bench pressing and women are all over him. Instead, it's him bench pressing and all the dudes are walking. We're like, looking big there, King.
It's a little gay.
Yeah,
gets a little gay when you get to the extreme end.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing things for like female validation.
No, you should be doing it.
That's unattractive to women, ironically.
Working out, just like skating for me, is more about the physical activity about it now, right? Skating for me was something I did semi for work when I was younger, but love it and do it now because I need the exercise and I love to go out, and the endorphins that come with it and all that stuff is great. And I've never participated in anything that I do wondering what it's going to mean for women.
I want to hear from both of you. What are the least attractive hobbies for women versus most attractive?
Do women have hobbies?
That's been the question this whole week.
I guess
that's what people have been
asking. I
asking.
guess yoga would be a hobby, just like for men working out or the gym.
Least attractive, though?
Least
No,
attractive.
I'm just
what
trying
are the
to think.
least
No, that's
attractive
not
hobbies for women?
That's not an unattractive hobby. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think of like what actual hobbies for women are.
Yeah, food influencer.
That's the least attractive.
Yeah, probably. He's going with their noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Astrology?
Is that a hobby?
Is that
I
a
guess
hobby?
it's a hobby.
It's a
I don't know.
lifestyle. It's a way of life.
It's a religion.
It's a religion
for some.
You know, there's a lot of complexity in that. I think it really comes down to the personality of the girl, right? You know, if they're kind of subdued and I don't know, you know, there's a lot of complexity to that. You gotta, it's one of those, you know it when you see it, you know? But yeah, I think that with women in particular, most men will say, this is why guys, I've never used a dating app before, but this is why guys are constantly just doing this. They're just constantly swiping right on every single woman, right? Men are the beggars. Women are the choosers, right? Beggars can't be choosers in this situation.
Gatekeepers to sex.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So, but if woman, like, or maybe like pole dancing, probably would say no to that.
It's for fitness.
It's for fitness.
Right.
Why are you wearing the stripper heels then?
Yeah.
Shut up, misogynist prick.
Shopping as well. Yeah, shopping.
I don't think of shopping as a hobby, though. You're literally just consuming things. You know?
I mean, that's what you're doing when you go to a movie. You're consuming a product. People would consider going to the movies a hobby.
Maybe if you like discussing movies.
You like discuss shopping.
I don't think that women discuss shopping
Do they?
as much
I
as
have
they
no idea.
shop. They shop more than
Tell
they
me
discuss
more about
shopping.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what confused me because in a certain sense, I'm not saying women don't have hobbies. Don't get me wrong. But men are more likely to be super into a hobby because it's how they bond together, is that they together do a third thing at the same time.
So I was explaining
for women, when they bond, it's literally just talking.
Yeah.
Like, men go fishing and don't say a word, and that's how they bond.
What I was explaining
Women just,
to you.
it doesn't matter where we are, we're just going to talk.
So for us, it was like 25 years of skating, which means you go from spot to spot all over the city. You go skate rails, you go skate ledges, and it's like 40 to 50% doing your tricks. Then, you know, you're done with yours. Somebody else is still skating, and it's the group like it's the joke is like you just loiter. You loiter at that public location, skate with your friends, and that's where you converse. But we're not going to go sit around in someone's apartment and go do that. We've got a shared activity that we go out and do together.
Yeah, women, I don't think, would relate to that nearly as much.
Which brings it back to playing games with your boys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're doing something, it's a hobby. That's why it's a hobby, because it's, you know, it's fun, number one, and then you get to hang out with your boys, and as we saw in the video earlier, you get to talk all sorts of shit.
We got a 20 from Pat the Plumber. Who has time for hobbies when there's a femicide going on in the Congo?
What are we supposed to do?
How dare you have a hobby? What was the next one?
From, I can't read
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Hey, Craig, I'm currently working on a story that stars a middle-aged woman named Katie Did the Dog Whisperer. She is a lonely woman who has a special relationship with her dog and a magical talking jar of peanut butter. Any advice?
Scrap the story, start over, and
come up with something new.
Get Caesar Milan to help you with it.
I guess the question, is it a kid's book, an adult's theme, or is he just going to go straight to porno? Because it sounds like it's going to go straight to porno there, Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. So,
I think that the cringy part of this whole discussion is that men got really defensive about it, and they were like, actually, it makes me a more strategic thinker, and it makes me, like, it gives me all of these different skills, and it's like, you can just play video games for fun and like you don't need to like defend yourself that hard.
But the problem is that this leans into the neurotic side of women that have to overanalyze every aspect of their life, and in this case, every aspect of their online life, which is a bunch of men who they don't know or interact with.
My best theory for why video games are an unattractive hobby, which no other woman would probably say, is that usually it's a simulation of danger rather than actual proximity to danger.
Well, you know,
and that's why
post-industrial revolution.
I know
we're not really facing a lot of those dangers in the real world.
We live in a society, okay? I get it, but it's a simulation of like this goal-oriented behavior of adventure and violence and saving the girl, and those are themes in video games, and that's how they attract a predominantly male customer base. So that to me is the primary reason why it's unattractive.
I don't understand how this can be possible when supposedly 50% of gamers are women.
I agree. This is a very wonderful thing.
If you think about it, women love Candy Crush because it's like the women are gathering and the men are hunting.
Yeah, like you're out here playing Animal Crossing and I'm supposed to not judge you?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
And they love Sims for the same reason as like, controlling everyone's social interactions.
That's a really good observation, the idea of control. Because I was thinking about, so my producer Blabs, she loves Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? And it's the same idea. I'm going to control this environment. And she's kind of got like a dark side. She likes the roller coasters to like not have an end. So they'll do a loop, come off, then they just fly off into the ether and die. But you're right, man. There's a lot of control associated.
I knew a girl who was really into Roller Coaster Tycoon. Daily streak.
We can talk about how this list has been debunked and whatever it was. The idea that a woman would consider gambling less bad than playing video games just shows you how bad women are at making decisions when it comes to picking mates.
Crazy take. Ramsey Paul on X said, a girl that thinks she can tell me not to play video games is in the deal breaker zone. It is bizarre that women think they can run men's lives. If a man did this to a woman, it would be called controlling and abusive.
Well, I mean,
they're not trying to tell you you're not allowed to play video games. They're literally just saying they won't have sex with you.
Okay, but you could say if gaming is your hobby, right? That's fine. You could say that if it controls your life, whether it's gaming, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's whatever, card games, whatever the most attractive hobby in the world is to women, if it controls your life and it becomes too much of your life, it's no longer a hobby, it's an obsession, right? So like the idea of I'm not going to have sex with somebody because they play video games is fairly closed-minded, right? You could say the same, well, I'm not going to, but it just comes down to how much does that hobby become an obsession? And that's that's the biggest key to all this discussion, I think.
Just like with doom scrolling on any social media, most people just aren't good at self-regulation.
Look, a lot of this is a response to the internet being what it is, which is that normally back in the day, if this conversation was to happen, it would be amongst a bunch of girls together in a group, and there would be no men involved in them talking about how this wasn't attractive.
But now, because of the internet,
people end up in a bunch of spaces where they would not normally be privy to go, and so you end up debating this endlessly when the best thing you can do is just continue your hobbies and understand that you should have no interest in this person anyways, because they're clearly not the type of person that you want to be dating anyways.
You know what the best thing to do in that situation is if you're playing video games and you're getting some strife from a girl or whatever, and she's like, I don't understand why you play video games. You invite them to play video games and you say, here's why I like playing video games. And you give them a chance to experience it with you. And then all of a sudden it doesn't become a wedge in your relationship. It becomes something that could potentially create a bridge in your relationship.
But on the contrary, Brett says he would never want to share his hobby of skating with a dating interest ever.
The worst thing that I can ever think of is like you're having an argument with your significant other, and then you're like, well, I'm just gonna go out and skate and clear my head. I'm coming with you. That's fucking awful. Like that's fucking awful.
I hear that.
Like that's also different because it's just been a part of my life for so long that introducing somebody to that this late would be weird.
Well, let's end this on a positive note. One girl said that she actually bonds with her boyfriend over video games.
There you go.
She said, lately my boyfriend has been playing a trucking simulator, and I was watching it the other day and asked him to drive the truck into a lake, and he did, and then proceeded to spend the next half hour fishing it out with a crane, and that's what love is about.
That's right. There you go.
Beautiful.
Bring people together. Bring people together.
Okay.
Right.
High Voltage 75 said, money gun go brrr.
Yes, it does.
It do that. Stefan Buttle sent $1 without a message. Thank you. Tools said just normal men.
You know it.
Indeedy.
Nate said, already read that one. James Marone said, I missed the OG Modern Warfare 2 days where everyone threw the N-word around. Remember what they took from you. Yeah. Yes, few are brave enough to say it, but it's true.
Well, now you can't. That's the thing. You legitimately can't. And Microsoft is set up to where they have, they will literally censor you.
AI detects you.
Yes, and ban you if you say anything naughty.
Let's do 2 more.
Russ Buzzard said, are we going to get an appearance of Evil Craig during this live stream?
No, he's dead. Evil Craig is dead.
Okay. I won't ask any questions. The Rumbling said, hello all. You guys should do a corkboard of dollars signed by guests on the show. Well, you were planning on framing them all.
Yeah, so we got a whole list of we have all the fake money, and we have all our guests sign a bill when we're before they do the show, and we will grab yours before we're done. Though I have made the joke, we have them all sign some of the fake 100. It's like the fake $100 bill, but I'm gonna get like one person just to sign a 20 and
just
then
to mess with
build
their
a complex.
That's
like,
me.
why am I signing a 20 and everybody else signed 100?
Shane H. Wilder said, anything that is male-dominated will have a lot of shit-talking. We learned early when we had to hold the flashlight for our dads. It builds character.
It's true. That is true. All right. Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back after the fact. All right, guys. Let's talk about the Crow reboot. Mary, I want you to let everybody know, first of all, how did you feel about this film?
Well, I have nothing to compare it to because I still haven't seen the original Crow movie. I didn't hate it as much as you did, Brett. I thought it was like serviceable at best. I wasn't intensely bored. It was slow, but mostly I just felt like they were presenting a romantic archetype that is already outdated. People are like, oh, this is for girls who shop at Hot Topic and their SoundCloud rapper boyfriends. And I'm like, those people haven't existed since 2018. Why are you making this movie about them? It was very Tumblr. It was very, she was fearless and crazier than him. She was his queen, and God help anyone who disrespected his queen. It was very that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because after the movie, when we're in the car, I said, who is this for? Who is this movie for? Because it wasn't for the fans of the old movie. No. It's not for today's young, hip crowd, although they try, right? Today's modern audience. That's really what it comes to. Is it for today's modern audience? I don't know. The modern audience.
It's not even for
exist.
them.
Right, exactly.
It's not for anyone. Look, I fear doing this review because I'm not going to be able to articulate in the right words just how awful this movie truly is. It takes none of the lessons from the original film. It captures none of the underlying story. It doesn't understand why people rooted for Eric upon his resurrection. It doesn't understand why Shelley is a character worth dying for and then being resurrected and doing horrible things for.
Yes. I didn't understand why we were supposed to root for them.
Yes. So
Thank you guys.
There's a 20 there.
Jensen said, been watching you since the Screw Attack days. A lot has changed those. Hopefully you're still friends with some of those people. P.S. YouTube app autocorrect is still broken. We missed another one from W. Nanners.
Sweet Jesus.
W. Nanner said, my wife and I play fighting games together all the time. I beat her in Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, but no matter how hard I try, I can't beat her in Tekken.
There you go.
It's a bonding activity for you.
Look, guys, in the original film, Eric and Shelley are two beautiful souls that are connected while living in this disgusting, grimy world full of drugs and criminality and murder and death. And they are set to be married on Halloween, which is a fantastic hook. And the eve of their wedding, Shelley is raped and murdered, and Eric is murdered, and there is a beautiful innocence and an ethereal nature to Shelley that is the driving force behind why a character like Eric would come back to life a year later and avenge her murder and death, and her murder and her rape. In this film, they implicitly turn Eric and Shelley from these two kind characters who live in filth around them, take care of a young child who's been abandoned by her drug-addicted mother before they are then murdered by scumbag drug-addicted criminals, and turn them into hedonistic, degenerate drug addicts. There is no hook to this movie. There is no reason to empathize with either character. There is no love. There is no passion. There's no connection. They say the word love 10,000 times. What you have is Eric and Shelley on a 2-week drug bender falling in lust, and that isn't a reason to come back to life from the afterlife and murder a bunch of criminals. I'm sorry.
I thought I was going to be the cynical one.
No.
Like, I thought, no one's going to agree with me on this. Like, why should we sympathize with them? They're just two like junkies in a self-destructive bender for 2 weeks, and suddenly he's going to like fight to the death for her.
The anti-drug message in the original film is implicit.
We got a 20 from Vilter Drucky.
Yeah.
Craig here. Sweet. Hey. Hi.
Thank you.
So you were saying?
Okay, so the anti-drug message in the original is implicit. All the criminals are drug-addicted scumbags. Top Dollar is literally seen in one scene, him and Micah. They're there with a mountain of cocaine that he snorts right before he kills someone. The same is true of Fun Boy, who is dating Sarah, the young girl that Eric and Shelley have been taking care of. They have been taking care of her because Darla is a drug addict who's dating a criminal who eventually went on to murder Shelley. And after he comes back to life and he kills Fun Boy, he pulls morphine out of the arm of Darla and says, "You have a daughter at home. Take care of her." Okay? By making the main characters lustful, degenerate hedonists, you get rid of all of the impactful message of the original, and it's just mired in today's accepting of degeneracy.
Well, they even acknowledged that when they had escaped rehab. Shelley says, like, "I just escaped rehab with a total effing degenerate," and I'm like, "Is that a joke?
Why am I supposed to care if he comes back to life to save this woman?
Yeah, I don't get it.
There is an angelic and an ethereal nature to Shelley in the original film that this movie captures none of.
Did you see the original?
Yeah.
It's been like 30 years now. I watched some clips to prep for it, so it's been a long time. But I did watch a lot of the clips to prep for it on YouTube. Yeah.
There is also a backstory to Shelley that is not in this in the original film that they put in here because they wanted to get rid of the idea of fridging. They couldn't kill her character and turn her into a plot device because modern 2024 won't allow a female character to be a plot device. Mm-hmm. So she is captured on video doing something horrible while under the spell of one of the criminals in this movie. The other problem this movie have is that the original movie had Top Dollar, Fun Boy, Tintin. These were all played by charismatic actors that really, really nailed their performance. Certainly the actor who voices Fun Boy has one of the most iconic voices you will ever hear, and every single bad guy in this movie is a charisma vacuum that you can't wait to get off the screen.
So the main villain is Mr. Rogue, and I thought he should have been played by Alec Baldwin so I could hate him more. I couldn't muster it up.
Yeah.
He does speak very slowly when he speaks. He's supposed to be very rich and empowering, but at the same time, he's very boring.
The point of the original movie is that in a grimy, disgusting world full of crime and drugs, Eric and Shelley have a beautiful, pure connection. But like the fact, I cannot understate how important the fact that they died on the eve of their wedding was. Mm-hmm. What is more of an interesting hook to you? A beautiful couple dying on the eve of their wedding, or drug addicts dying on a 2-week bender? Fuck that.
After like coming into their apartment from a rave. Yeah.
I like this side of you. This is good.
Me too.
When I talk about this, here's the thing. When I pitched this movie to Mary, I didn't pitch this side of it. I pitched the fantastic pacing of the original, which is breakneck. From the moment that he's brought back to life, you're off to the races with him killing bad guys. And there's some minor breaks where he talks to Officer Albrecht. This movie's just like, something kind of happens. Stop! Talk for 20 minutes.
No, Eric is frustrating because he is like clueless about what he's doing. He's like, what's going on? Am I dead?
Yeah.
And he's like, can I have a gun? He goes to his friend. He's like, can I have a gun?
So here's the thing. In the original movie,
he's an idiot.
In the original movie, he comes back to life. He kills Tintin with like 6 different knives, and then he immediately goes to the shitty pawn shop with the criminal pawn shop owner who has his wife's wedding ring, sets the place on fire, steals a gun, the ring back, and says, go tell Top Dollar and the rest of these scumbags they're gonna die. That's how he gets his weapon. And this one he's like, can I have a gun?
And he like takes it out of a bag of hot Cheetos.
And the guy gives him some bullets. He's like, okay, thank you for the gun. It just grinds to a halt constantly. This is the worst movie of 2024, bar none to me.
And then
It
when
really is.
Eric finally sees the video of Shelley, are we doing spoilers?
Yes.
She murders someone in the video
Because
under the
she's-
spell
yes.
of Mr. Rogue. When he finally sees that, despite the fact that he knows Mr. Rogue does this to people, puts them under a spell to control them, he's like, oh my gosh, she murdered someone. I can't do this anymore.
The plot was too convoluted.
And then he like dies, and then he's like, wait, no, like give me another chance. And he makes the trade-off that he's gonna go to hell instead of her, and she's gonna live. Then she's gonna like go on to live a normal life and be a musician while he's in hell.
Okay.
Because that's what she deserves.
I will give this movie some credit. Some of the gory action scenes were great.
Yeah.
There was some uncompromising gore that you would expect them to cut away from. The only way this movie could have been worse is if they tried to edit it down to PG-13. That's the only way this movie could have been worse. There's some great scenes where he just pushes a katana through a dude's face that looked great. There's some bones that pop through the leg that reset that are shot very close up that are captivating and great. Here's the problem. That's every scene. It's like there's like 2 seconds of action and then 10 minutes of him walking to some song that doesn't fit the theme of the movie at all.
The soundtrack was also frustrating.
Yes.
Did you feel that way?
Yes, it was awful. And yes, I didn't see Borderlands, guys. So
Like I thought
I don't.
if you're gonna make it into this like Hot Topic SoundCloud rapper late 2010s vibe, at least play a Lil Peep song. What was that?
You can't get over the. And then yes, so spoiler alert: in the original film, after persevering, killing all the people that harmed, that murdered and raped his wife, he then crawls himself back into a grave and dies back alongside her. Beautiful symbolism, beautiful imagery. In this, what happens is after he finally kills the bad guy who he's only interacted with for like 2 seconds in the film because it's so poorly scripted and put out that you don't care about this bad guy, he kills him in this nether realm, and then you find out that it was all a fucking dream. No, I'm sorry, it was all an overdose related dream in which she is revived by medics and he's just dead.
But
did none of this stuff actually happen?
The medic is his spirit guide.
Yes. So, okay, you're obviously very passionate about this, and rightfully so, and I appreciate your passion. I think it's really important to point out, just you talked about like the plot holes associated with this. Like, there were so many times where I thought of him, the main character, Eric, right? Is that his name, Eric?
Yes.
I'm the guy who watches movies, and I'm like, that's the lead guy, whatever. I don't know.
Eric Draven.
Okay, so Eric, he is an aloof. He is a druggie. He is in rehab. He has no ability to fight. There's literally a scene where he's getting yelled at by other people, and he has no ability to fight back. Right?
That doesn't bother me because it's not like he's some trained fighter. He's a dude who's fueled by rage and the fact that he can't die now.
Got it. Totally got it. With that said, there are points where this guy who is so lost, has no physical ability, all of a sudden becomes a master detective and goes and he does a little research and notices things on the floor that no regular person would notice, right? And starts noticing. So the one scene for me that really was like, what the hell, was where he pulls the thing away from the wall, the chest or whatever, gets out the key or whatever it is that has the logo on it for the building that the people are at. Yeah, the Rogue or whatever. Nice. And he's like walking down the street, and the only car on the street that he passes just happens to be the guy who murdered him.
And he literally stops and and walks back. And he goes, oh, it's that guy.
Like, if you're that guy who literally murdered the guy who's walking down the street, don't you, like, I don't know, maybe...
People thought I said dreidel. It's Eric Draven, not dreidel, guys.
No.
No. And to be fair, they said this isn't a remake of the original film. It's obviously not, because there wasn't supernatural elements to the bad guys in the original. There was to, obviously, the Crow bringing him back to life. But Top Dollar was just a slumlord,
just a dude,
criminal, right? And infinitely better when you have cool names like Fun Boy and Top Dollar and Tintin. And you can't recapture the grime of a movie made in the 90s. When you watch the 1994 Crow movie, you legitimately look like anywhere they turn, something bad could happen to them, because it looks so realistic, right? It's rainy, it's dirty, it's gross. And they tried to recapture this. There's some slow motion visuals. Looks like somebody's like, let's make some scenes from the show Hannibal, but with less class and worse. And then after they did that, they focused on, to their credit, I suppose, practical blood effects, where there's a lot of blood coming out of wounds and stuff like that. But it doesn't capture any of the realism and grime that the original film had. There's 20.
And another from Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. All right, Craig, not a fan of Katie Did the Dog Whisperer. Fair enough. How about a story about a pie maker named Rethan Van Scammer? He is married, but secretly meets guys on Craigslist behind a pizza parlor in Jersey. Advice?
Yeah, good luck with that. I think that sounds like a really interesting book.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to focus on this a little bit. This has to come back to the fact of what they did to the character of Eric and Shelley. There is an implicit knowledge that people have that when you frame characters as drug addicts, they can be either bad guys or they can be a lost soul who's worthy of redemption and looking to, to change their life and do better. There is none of that in this.
Like I compared it to Jesse and Jane in Breaking Bad, where all of the viewers were rooting for them to finally recover together.
Yeah. But these two don't want
this
that.
Is the opposite of that. They're literally like drinking Hennessy and popping ecstasy pills and having sex in her friend's apartment. And then like we're supposed to believe that this is like a love story for the ages.
The original?
They kiss through the shit.
They kiss through a sheer curtain.
Yes, multiple times. They showed it so many times.
The original film, again, I'm impressed. On the eve of their wedding, these two people who take care of an abandoned child because the abandoned child's mother is a drug addict are now drug addicts who met in rehab and go on a bender. Nobody is emotionally connecting with this. Whatever you feel about drugs, as you guys know, I'm many years sober now and in recovery, and I don't really care if people choose to do drugs. I don't. I do understand that as a storytelling device, there is an implicit bias that people are going to have when you frame characters as making poor choices. Okay? And when you try to frame them in this sympathetic way, it falls short. So then it just becomes an empty story, an empty revenge story. At least John Wick showed how he had to get revenge because of the death of a dog. Right? Like there's a call to action, and it's not even just because it's a dog. It's because the dog was the final gift from his wife. That's a great hook. Just like a goth couple getting married on Halloween is a great hook. Drug addicts on a bender isn't a great hook. Who the fuck wrote this?
I saw this review on X, and I thought it just nailed it. I read this last night. I read this on Side Scrollers, but it says, The Crow finds the most uninteresting and frustrating way to go about reimagining the original. Poorly paced, really odd music choices, and two characters I just couldn't care about.
You can't. The fact that they're addicts, it makes it hard to care about them. It does.
It's not like you really see them do anything. That you don't see them lying.
No, they're just self-destructive.
Whatever.
They're just self-destructive.
But they're self-destructive and feeding into each other's self-destruction, which essentially means they don't love each other.
Yeah. They're like, how do I know you love each other? You haven't experienced life together not high. again, in the original, they're protecting a child who's the victim of a drug addict mother. That's sympathetic. That's something you want to see somebody get revenge for.
Also, I really didn't understand the ending because the trade-off he made was that she would get to live and he would go to hell. But then he didn't go to hell. He just stayed in the netherworld and started walking ominously into the distance.
Okay, if this movie had kept the pacing of the original film, and again, I'm not selling this like the original movie didn't have camp and great lines and stuff like that. There's a chaotic campiness to aspects of The Crow. That is true. But the underlying story is beautiful, and it's why you're able to connect to it in a deeper level. And this isn't one of my favorite movies of all time. I just don't understand how writers who supposedly do this for a living miss the entire point of why people connected to these characters.
You also hated FKA Twigs as their casting choice for Shelley.
I just think that they needed to find somebody with a more ethereal look. But that's impossible to do. You could cast the most beautiful woman in the world in this role who looks like an angel, but if she has to be a drug addict, it's not going to land the same way.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. That's the first time I've ever heard the phrase FKA Twigs before.
That was the actress. I mean,
That's her name?
She's more known for being a singer, even though she only sang for like 5 seconds in the movie.
Look, and this is the other point. So I pointed out the other day that, like, from what they've said, like, the entire cast and crew was just gacked out of their mind when making the original Crow. So drug-abusing filmmakers in 1994 understood good storytelling better than supposedly sober and coherent storytellers in 2024.
How far we've fallen.
True.
All right, let's finish up our super chats. Marcos said there should be a movie based on Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, wouldn't that be like really, really impossible to work out rights-wise?
Yeah, impossible.
Yeah.
Mind Fury 1980 said party. Well, thank you for the party.
Thank you.
Austin
We're almost
Brown.
in the 5th one, guys.
What's the record for parties?
30?
30?
It was 34, I think.
34?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember when that happened, though.
It was a long time. It was like on one of the milestone episodes.
Yeah.
300 or something.
Nice.
Austin Brown said Miss Mac has a word for gamers that can't smack talk.
Ah, yes.
Might know it. Shane H. Wilder said, okay, Mary, return to form. I haven't seen this cringe. Thanks, I hate it. You're welcome. I'm glad I'm doing better.
It is Mary's job
Learning
to
from
find
my
the
mistakes.
cringe.
Surinko Productions said, not even the power of one, the power of two, nor the power of many signatures will save the Acolyte.
But $7,964.57 will per person.
If all you have to do now is just donate your money to Disney.
For just pennies a day.
That's right.
Pop Culture Junkie said, you folks have the kernel of a great site idea. You cringe?
You cringe?
Wait, what?
It's like YouTube, but it's
YouTube,
just cringe.
But it's only cringe.
You cringe?
It's almost like that already. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary's going off. Let her cook. I'm cooking. Yellow Flash said, men playing video games is bad, yet she probably watches 40 awful reality shows.
Yeah, like if a guy was like, look, anyone that watches Dance Moms or Love Island, I just can't.
I mean, yeah.
Guys wouldn't care about stuff like that, though. I truly believe the guy would be like,
men are shallow. They don't really care about looks.
Guys just like, look, if that makes you happy, I guess, you know.
They don't care if you have an awful personality and binge watch 90 Day Fiancé. I would know. Shane H. Wilder said, well, I play video games, no magic tricks, and escape artistry, and troll online. Looks like I'm screwed. Time to join the monastery.
Do you taxidermy? Do you do taxidermy, though?
You got to add that to the list, as well as bird watching, yoga, those types of things. He also said, does woodworking counteract my bad hobbies?
Depends on what you can make with your woodworking.
Yeah. I think that's a good hobby.
I agree.
You can give people gifts. Lyman.
My dad got really into like whittling and woodwork later in life, and he loves that.
Common dad trait.
Very much.
I made a jewelry box for my mom in 7th grade.
Aw.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Really bad.
She was like, that's great, sweetie.
It's like, oh, that's wonderful, honey.
Lyman to Coconut said, what I want to know is if playing video games is unattractive, would reading be unattractive too? Both are solitary activities that revolve around progressing from start to end of a work of art.
Checkmate, ladies. Take that.
Yeah, screw you, Liz Wheeler.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think literature is a higher form of art than
Oh, we're gonna get on our art tier list now.
And then movies and TV shows.
Look, a horse died in The Crow, and Mary just got on her high horse about video games.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
I mean, it's true. Literature is Lindy. It's been around longer, and it's gonna be around longer.
There's a 20 there.
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. In all seriousness, congratulations on your success, Craig. Your channel has definitely grown a lot in the past year, and I try to catch episodes when I can. Keep grinding, dude.
Hey, appreciate that. You guys would love for you guys to pop on over and find me, and hopefully you can tell me more about your stories with $20 super chats on my channel.
Yes. Transfer them right over. Stefan Bottle said, my message was supposed to say money shot.
Okay.
Did it not go through?
Did
I
not
don't
go
know.
through? All right.
Shane H. Wilder said, let Brett cook. He is 100% right. Shelley's purity is why she is in heaven. The reboot isn't even close to the comic book. Well, I guess it would be fitting that Shelley went to hell in this version.
Like, here's the funny thing. I was like, if you want to know, like, if you were just trying to sell somebody on these are the two pitches, like the 2-line write-up on IMDb for the original and then the new one. So here it is for the new one. It says, soulmates, first of all, press X to doubt. Thank you. Soulmates after they met 2 weeks ago. Soulmates, Eric and Shelley are brutally murdered. Given a chance to save the love of his life, Eric must sacrifice himself and traverse the worlds of the living and the dead seeking revenge. And then this is for the 1994. The night before his wedding, musician Eric Draven and his fiancée are brutally murdered by members of a violent gang. On the anniversary of their death, Eric rises from the grave and assumes the mantle of the Crow, a supernatural avenger. Look, just the mention of the anniversary and the fact that they were to be married, that's a better hook. It just is.
We have a 20 from Wait. He said, thanks to Craig, I now put mayo in my coffee. Is that something you do?
No, never.
All right.
I don't like coffee or mayo, but it is a topic of discussion on the show.
It's disgusting.
It is a horrible, horrible idea. And
I will give one more compliment to the film, is that as bad as it was, without Skarsgård, it could have been infinitely worse. Who at least does have a great look and a certain amount of screen presence and charisma that works for this type of movie. But other than that, garbage.
You just hate FKA Twigs now.
No, look, it's not even necessarily her fault because it's what they made her and Eric's character. It's she suffers more from being a drug addict and a hedonist in this than he does. She should be seen as pure and worth dying and fighting for. He, as someone who's going to meet an untimely fate by the end anyways, is less marred by that. So it's really a disservice that they did to her in this role was what they did to her character.
Red Snow said, praise be to Space King.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Praise be to Space King as well.
Olivia Claire said, don't forget the guy with the tail. Bad Omen. Yeah, there was a Bad Omen at the theater last night. I wasn't there, but you, I think, took a picture of it.
I did not. Somebody took a picture of it.
Yeah, there was a guy with a tail and paws.
And I said to Mary, I said, look, what somebody does in the privacy of a public movie theater is their own business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look, who are we to tell them?
You are so lucky that I wasn't there yet because
I would have been like this as
it
Mary
would have been
goes
knocked
and
down, drag
him.
out. That's who I am. The Manic Mustache sent a 20. Late as usual and apropos thoughts was kicked off of live because I told someone that I would win against his dad at Parcheesi, then tongue punch his mom's fart box after she completed her half marathon. Stay toxic, my friends.
But the question is, why was it a half marathon?
You're always sending super chats in this exact format.
Yep.
I kind of appreciate that.
We're almost at Crisis Party number 6, guys. We're getting there.
Squibs said only Satan wanted the Crow remake.
I mean, honestly, it's pretty, and people were asking me like how it compares to the made for TV or like the straight to DVD sequels. I never saw the sequels.
Are they sequels based on the same characters?
I never saw the sequels. I only saw the originals.
I'll say this: you don't have to worry about it too, because it ain't gonna
happen. That movie that what was it, like Don't Blink or whatever that's coming out. Who was
is that? There's. I thought I saw some promotion for that.
That did more in previews than The Crow.
Who's in that?
I think Batista.
What is it about?
I don't even know. But it did more in preview money than The Crow did.
Hey, here's a question for you: will the original Crow make more money than this Crow? The original Crow made $51 million.
What's that?
In today's money, how much is that?
Yeah, what is that?
Just double it, I'd say.
Double it?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to reach 100 million?
We'll have to wait and see. I mean,
it might.
It shouldn't. If there is a divine creator, it shouldn't. But
it made 3.4 times its original budget.
No, I mean, well, then that's your. So then the better question is, if you can look it up? Actually, I can look it up right now. Like what the budget on the new one was.
Let's go!
This one, the Crow cost 50. The new one cost
Thank
50
you guys.
million. So
I appreciate the energy.
So that means this needs to make at least. So what's like 1.5? This needs to make well over $100 million to break even.
Okay.
It might. There aren't many great options right now in theaters. I don't know we were supposed to see another movie next week. What was that?
Isn't Beetlejuice coming up?
Oh, was that next week?
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're seeing that next week. I'm more excited for that. Potatoes for Seamus said, since Brett doesn't know what he's talking about when he answers super chats, I guess that means it really is Tuesday. Also, you must tell Mr. Greg about Anne's Franks. Let's go!
Well, yeah, an Anne's Frank hot dog.
They're kosher hot dogs.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, one time at band camp said, buy Dustborn.
Don't buy Dustborn. Listen, it may be a collector's edition if you go out and get it.
Where are we? I don't know if I'm caught up
the
here.
Manic Mustache.
Potatoes for Seamus?
Yes.
Brett puts mayo on his Anne's Franks. Let's go.
I do not.
These are horrific allegations. The Manic Mustache said full marathon takes too long.
Well, okay then.
All right.
I want to know where all the money went for the Crow. I guess rain machines.
There's a lot of raining.
There's a lot of. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, but somehow they captured it better.
Why are they saying Lori Lightfoot has a movie?
Beetlejuice.
Oh.
The better example is like if you go the new Crow versus the old Crow is a better comparison would be the look of the Dark Knight versus Batman Begins. Batman Begins had a much more comic book-esque look to it, deeper tones and colors. The Narrows looked grimy and gross, whereas like once you like start the Dark Knight, it's just Chicago, and said that it's Gotham.
The part where Eric in this one like starts crying the black blood. And then he puts it like as like eyeshadow over his eyes was very the Batman. Like when they had to show him putting the makeup on, which they never did with.
Yeah, none of the other movies when they take the mask off, the makeup around their eyes has mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, but they decided to show that in the Batman because he's like the emo Batman.
Right.
It was try hard.
I did feel like he needed to visit a Hot Topic while doing that.
Yeah, and he had the dangly earring and the little face tattoo moment.
Like.
Also, what was the significance of the cry now, cry later thing?
I mean, other than just a callback to them getting the tattoo together and
did you jump?
Who cares?
Oh, I thought you jumped.
No, I was just like.
I was like, whoa, see,
gesticulating.
Well, there's a reason why they tell you never to fall in love in rehab because you're going to end up getting murdered by a bunch of supernatural criminals.
Are there even co-ed rehabs? That's not a thing.
Man, I was thinking the same damn thing.
That's not a thing.
Like, there's not a chance.
Especially not where you're allowed to just waltz into some like opposite sex patient's room or even have individual rooms to yourselves. What is this, a hotel?
Right. Sure.
Who's paying for this?
Did you see that room? He had a desk on either side of his bed. I'd live there.
There are not co-ed rehabs. I bet on it.
And who is paying for it? That's the bigger question. Who's paying for this?
Yeah.
The state?
Four seasons rehab that they're at.
I don't know what this is.
It's like he has like there's like a guard at the rehab center that just hates him and keeps like taking his towel and being a dick to him for no reason. I appreciated that.
There was zero reference for that, by the way, too. It just like ended.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the horse at the beginning in the trailer park where I guess his mom was, which maybe that's a callback to the comics, was never touched upon again, and it didn't matter.
Potatoes for Seamus said Brett, mayo and coffee is so nourishing.
Ugh. Stop using the word nourishing. It's disgusting.
Shane H. Wilder said, damn it, Mary, you need to be there to call out furries. I'm disappointed. I am too.
No,
I mean, I would have loved an opportunity to, embarrass that guy.
Now,
since he's not embarrassed.
What I want is for you to watch the original Crow so that you can tell me what you think of the difference between the two.
Yeah, I'm sure I will eventually. I mean, I don't even know if I would like the original.
No, I don't know either, but I think that you would understand
why you're so angry.
Yes, you would understand the problem with the call to action being so much worse.
Yeah.
So, all right. Before we go, guys. Oh, we're all. Oh no, I thought it was.
I think we're all caught up.
Yep, we're all caught up. We almost made it to 6 crisis parties today, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel, especially if you're new here. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. And Craig, thank you.
Yeah, man, this is super fun. Appreciate you having me out here. I went into my country voice.
Let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Oh, yeah, sure. I host a podcast called Side Scrollers. That's it.
That's it?
All right, cool.
There's links in the description, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, that too.
All right.
Yeah, find me over there. We're great. We have a good time. We're growing a little bit more every day. If you are a normal man who just likes common sense, Side Scrollers is a great podcast.
What about normal vase?
No, just everybody's a normal man.
Okay.
You too.
You too would be a normal man.
Yeah, everybody. Yes, normal man is an all-inclusive term.
Got it.
All right, Mary.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
To be clear, we don't offer normal days.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very discriminatory towards that.
Got it. As you should be.
I mean, just yesterday we had a lady talking about where are the poly people with 401ks. So,
They don't exist.
Yep. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok because we were banned on TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see you then. Bye everyone.